Is it some devil that crawls inside of you?
And it's old age.
Yeah, like it's
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, hasn't been. I dropped the hell out of mine.
I've probably dropped the hell out of mine too.
I have two of them, and yeah, they don't like me no more because
don't like
I
you no
taped.
more.
I did the Circus Starts at Midnight.
Yeah.
And I taped the Zoom recorder to the ceiling.
Oh yeah,
Tons of duct tape,
tons of duct tape.
or gaffer's tape, even like the
Oh,
real
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
The real, like expensive shit, like $50 a roll or whatever, and it fell on someone.
That has nothing to do with the tape at that point. It's the fucking popcorn ceiling or whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
Was that at the Sham?
The greasy, stuccoed
That's fun.
ceiling.
Yeah, I was wondering why.
I'm just glad it didn't hurt. It hit a girl on the shoulder. I'm glad it didn't hit her in the head.
That would have been funnier, better
But
story.
what really sucked is the battery popped out when it fell, and
So-
it corrupted the file. Oh, so I didn't get any audio.
I don't
from
even
it.
know what that's like. I see. I've never had a corrupted file.
the
Unless you count the words being spoken on the file, then it's corrupt.
Yeah,
as
it's
hell.
corrupt because you're speaking at it. No, like so if you pop the battery out of that thing right now,
Yeah.
it'll corrupt the file.
Oh well.
At least in mine. Yours, you have
at
a
least
newer
I know.
model. You might
Yeah,
have.
it is newer. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah,
It
that's the
was
thing. That's what you get when you get.
I'm still paying it off. It's been 7 years.
Jesus.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm so fucking stingy when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
Like I grew up without, like I said, like video games. There's no consoles. I didn't get new iPods, phones,
Okay.
none of that. So like electronics, spending lots of one Christmas, my brother spent all of his Christmas money on it was a Game Boy Advance,
Yeah.
Advanced Color or something like that. And he was so frustrated with the thing, and he dropped like $200 something on it.
Yeah.
And he was so sad and bummed. And I had like, $150 in Christmas money or something. Just got a bunch of toys and
Yeah.
like, some fucking movies.
You didn't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, well, I was just like, I got so much shit with it. And
Right.
I looked at him and I was like, video games are stupid and not worth it. They're worthless. And then I'd go hang out with like friends,
Right.
and they'd be like, "Oh, let's go play a video game." And then I'd just be sitting there, and their parents get them whatever.
And now
they
he's obese and he can't get out of his chair because he's
Exactly.
addicted to digital technologies like me.
Oh, nice.
No, I haven't met him. I'm making this up,
No, but
obviously.
seriously, it was like these people would be stuck indoors, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Can we go outside?" Like
Yeah.
there's sticks and mud
Yeah.
that need to be played with. There's fucking toy swords.
Yeah.
And fucking toy guns. Like
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things that involve me moving around, and I was a spaz too. So like I was like quiet and reserved, but I
Yeah.
was like internally spastic.
Can we say that? Are we allowed
Is
to say it?
spaz ableist now?
I was having
It's
this.
a hardcore
I was
band.
having
It's
this.
a grindcore
I don't want
band.
to. So here, I was just actually watching George Carlin the other day, which he was going off on like going off on like the PC culture back then. It's so apropos of all this shit going on right now, hysterical. But no, so I was just talking to my friends recently because like you heard the story about Lizzo.
Yeah.
You know that story, right? Like she in one of her songs, she said the word spaz, right? And she went out of her way to take it out of a song. Like who? That's unprecedented. Like who?
You know how fucking like crazy you have to be to have a fat black woman be like, "Oops, I'm sorry. Let me stop offending
I'm
you."
sorry.
She has a hat trick of "Don't hurt my feelings or I'm ruining your
No one's
career."
safe, dude. No one's safe.
No one's. That's
No
why.
one's safe.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being a nobody is I can just say anything.
Yeah.
And no one cares.
Well, right. Until you become a somebody, and then you go shit.
But
What have I done?
my somebody will be in the air of, oh, he just is the one who says those things.
Who?
Me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like Ellen and what's his face? Corden.
James Corden. Yeah.
James
yeah.
Corden. People that like go like hey, when they come out
Too
and their
clean.
brand is like, oh, I'm a good boy, and then you're not. Then people are like, fuck you, you lied. But if you come out and you're like, I'm Donald Trump, go fuck yourself.
Like that. Yeah, exactly. Like that's why it's so popular. There's so many people who are like,
'Cause he
I
was-
relate to that guy because
Yeah.
like they were the
He's-
same. Like he shoots from the hip. He says crazy
Yeah.
things, but it's
You can be an absolute maniacal monster as long as you're honest about being one.
yeah. You're like, well, I wasn't gonna lie about being funnier than you and shittier. That's what, that's kind of like what the title of the podcast came from, was like bad etiquette. Like
Yeah.
it was a amalgamation of like, I worry about doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing in the wrong setting.
Right.
But also, a lot of the times, no one else will say the thing or
Right.
do the thing
Right.
that needs to be
Yeah.
shot
And that-
across
and
the
that's-
room.
yeah.
And I, unfortunately, was that asshole in my friend groups growing up. They're
Yeah.
like, here, let's unleash Dallas. He'll say the thing. And it was just fucking pure verbal diarrhea, just shitting all over the room. And it, I've learned since, it's definitely, I've evolved as a person, and so has the show. So
Right. Yeah, no, I was kind of like the opposite of that when I was growing up. I was like kind of quiet, and I would jab people quietly and no one could hear me. And then my friends would repeat what I said louder.
yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to be the repeater for sure.
Yeah.
People would say things and I'm like, I got this, watch. Here, sweetie, you gotta
Feed
say
me.
it this loud.
You're the megaphone. Yeah. But yeah, the Lizzo story, right? So like what was interesting about that was she goes out of her way, she pulls the lyric out of it, records it or whatever she has to do. Like that's insane. That is so unprecedented. Like
That's crazy.
on like a
That's psycho.
high tier musician, like the top of her game, you know, like is going to go back and like accommodate for like one person, and not even like an American individual, like a person in England, I think.
So someone who doesn't matter.
Well, exactly. Like they don't have teeth and they can't. I think that's how that works.
Call those teeth? What are you making, fucking keys?
Like a honest human being. Like she wasn't even dealing with them. She was dealing with like the pretend people over in fairy tale land. But yeah, no. So they because the thing about it is like language, like the whole, and this was brought up in like, you know, like on television and shit like that. I'm not the first person to say it, but what was interesting is that because like cunt.
Yeah, because
Is
they
a
say
bad
cunt,
word.
they throw it out.
They throw it out
Like a
there.
motherfucker
It's
over there.
different words have different power.
Yeah, there's
in
different contexts. Like that's what I
different
said
people.
earlier. Colloquialism, like it's
Right.
like an entirely different cultural staple.
Right. And because of that, because it was like such a sensitive thing, she pulled it out. But then people were, after she did that, were like, that wasn't good enough. They were still like harassing her and saying stuff like, you know, like, oh, this is, you know, you shouldn't have even done it to begin with. And you're like, okay. So at some point,
Recreational outrage. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
so stupid. It's so silly, and it's so fucking
Yeah.
unscrupulous. Just absolutely like.
also what happens though,
It's so obvious what they're doing. Not to cut you off, but like
No, I
it's
cut
like
you off.
you're being a dickhead to be a dickhead, and you're like, oh, I can bully someone, and they don't realize that they're being a bully. Because I feel like
Right.
a lot of people who are,
It's
who
a
are
fine line.
doing this is coming from a place of insecurity and uncertainty, and they might feel bullied by the world, they might feel intimidated by the
Right.
world around them, and they kind of find this weird power trip, like
Right.
like a dumb cop who just like inflicts himself and the authority he holds onto people to like
yeah.
enact revenge in a weird
Right.
way. It's really gross and unhealthy, and I think there's like so much of that I just want like erased from the culture, because it is just like holding people back.
Well, I heard this like recently twice in slightly different contexts, and I don't remember the exact percentages, but it was something like, what was it, like 80% of the people follow and like 10% lead and 5% observe and like ruin it for everyone else because they're like, hey, this is what's really happening. You're not paying attention. Like you're just following these assholes. But it's like, yeah, because it's like, and I think that comes down to like, I think there's like an element of like lowest common, like, you know, like energy state, you know, like
Yeah.
it's because it's a lot of energy to be smart. Like you don't, not everyone,
It's exhausting,
not
dude.
everyone gets to be smart.
I'm glad I don't have to do it.
And so-
I don't know how you do it, man. Fucking,
it's a lot of work, you know.
Being
It literally,
dumb's tiring enough.
it is, yeah. Or at least the trick is to like act like you're smart. Like it's really about confidence ultimately. Like that was what I always lacked as a kid, you know, was being confident. But you know,
Why'd you lack confidence when you were a kid?
because I was. I mean, I could give excuses, but I mean, the go-to thing was like probably being like abused and stuff, you know, like
You think it just kind of like stifled your
physically,
self-esteem?
yeah, physically abused and like emotionally abused from like at home and at school and stuff like that. And so my confidence was fucking
Yeah.
like non-existent. Like, and all my friends, you know, like I hung out with like a lot of people that were like, you know, like the Kirby's and like the you know, like the kids that like
Offbeat crowd.
yeah, the emos and whatnot. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I would just gravitate towards them because it was like, oh, why? You know, I don't necessarily chalk it up to like abuse so much as just like a felt like it was just a little bit different at all times. Because I feel like I wanted to be contrarian no matter where I was. If I was with the jocks, I'd want to be doing something in contrast. And then if I was with the, like offbeat crowd, emo kids, like goth kids, I'd want to do something that was setting me apart from them as well.
Right.
But I still,
you don't
to
want
this
to,
day, like I don't feel like I belong in a kind of category with people very well.
Right.
I like tweaking it. I like being like the, tooth out of line. Like it's very, I don't know. Maybe it's like a way to achieve individuality without too much effort. Might be some like, I don't even know, like gross, lazy, arbitrary thinking in that, but it made sense, and it still like makes sense to me because I'm like, the affectation of the metal T-shirt at like the jazz show, or you know what I mean, like just that I liked. It was a pattern.
You like standing out. You liked.
I don't like standing out. I don't like standing out to stand out. And attention, I want to earn and deserve because that is the best drug in the world.
Yeah. It's what we're all sort of striving for in some way. It's like
people definitely want to feel special.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, as soon as the first person shows you a kindness and you feel special, you're like, I want more of that shit right now. What is that drug?
Yeah.
So
cut to stand up.
Yeah, I know, big attention.
Couldn't be any more like on the nose.
Yeah.
Hey, look at me! I'm funny. Love me. When I was a kid, like I'd literally, my sister and my mom, I'd be like, God, you don't listen to me. I would like, because I grew up. I had brothers and such, but they were kind of older and stuff, and they didn't really want me around. And so I was kind of with my mom and my sister, and like I was like talking about science and a bunch of shit they could give a fuck, And I would talk a mile a minute because I didn't have a ton of friends, And so I would fucking talk their ear off, and I'd be like, you're not listening, and they're like, I see it now in my nephew because like he's kind of like me.
Annoying as hell.
He's kind of like me, like like he's like he has issues like I had issues.
How old is he?
He's like 22 now, but like. So yeah,
old.
He's old now, but I mean, like like I related because like I was shit in school, and like even though I go and I would overcompensate. Like I'd be like, I can't fucking pass any of these tests, but I'm gonna like learn everything I can about science, and like super overcompensate, like learn all the stupid trivia and all the like the cocktail knowledge, and like try to sound smart, and then like spout it back to people, And it convinces people that you're smart until they go do a math test or read this book.
That's funny. See, I did very well on tests. Horrible conduct as a student.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't do homework. I didn't do homework from like age 12 to graduation.
Did your parents know or?
Yeah, they used to send progress reports home that your parents had to sign in one of the junior highs I went to, and I had really good like cursive and handwriting, so I was like, I'm just forging that signature. You got to be sucking my dick.
So they didn't know.
They didn't know.
So that's the thing.
No. One time, my mom like opened my backpack and found a forged one that this is how bad I was. I didn't even turn the forgery in. Like that's how fucking shitty I was.
Like how much time did you spend trying to get it right, or were you just like, I got this?
I'm just like, dude, it's chicken scratch. Both our names start with D.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing because it's always
douche.
If you could do a big flourish of your first letter, then all the rest is garbage.
Well, no, hers was very nice, precise and
my mom's too.
But there was this one teacher. I'm struggling to remember her name right now. I was in maybe 8th grade. Vianello. Yeah.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah. I think Jessica Vianello is her daughter. But anyways, she was a new teacher, and she caught me like dead ass. Like, she looked at, because there was multiple, so she was like, this signature doesn't look like this fucking signature.
One thing doesn't look like the other.
And I was like, you're lucky you're hot, lady.
Oh.
No, just kidding. I literally wrote her an apology on a note and stuffed it in her like jacket pocket one day never heard a fucking word from her again.
So wait, this was the teacher? Wait, what?
The teacher, yeah.
Were you flirting with the teacher?
No, I wasn't flirting. I just found her attractive. That's just a sidebar.
I can relate.
Yeah, you've seen you've probably had a couple male teachers
Mrs.
you found.
Fruto, yeah, I was my sister's age, 12 years older. Yeah, she was hot.
That'll do it. Yeah. when you have an older sibling and there's someone else their same age, you're like, that was my first exposure to your gender.
Yes. Yeah.
You are a goddess.
Yeah.
I know how to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah. So if someone's like 7 to 8 years older than me right now and a woman, what's up, idiot? I got you, bro. I fucking know how to make you laugh. I know your dumb references, your fucking movies. Hell
right.
yeah. You know.
Yeah, you're into Madonna. That's
Yeah.
my sister.
I'm not that old. Jesus.
I'm old.
Madonna, she was-
How old do you think I am?
I don't know, 30.
42.
You're not 42.
I'm fucking 42.
You're 42. I'm sitting here, the 42-year-old.
I'm an old motherfucker.
You're fucking my ass.
You're like,
right now.
get out of
You're
here, you old
42
pedophile.
years
Yeah,
old?
I am. Just November 7th. Yeah.
Dude, what are you, black? How the fuck? What? You're 42? Dude, when I was a kid, 42-year-olds looked like that skeleton right there. You look...
My mom still works. She's 82.
Damn, dude. She's twice your age.
She was 40 when she had me. Yeah.
I can do math.
I can't.
On a
Congratulations.
test, but,
Do you want
yeah.
to make fun of me?
42. That's wild. Or the 70s, like, you fucking piece of shit. You were born in 1980 or 1980?
Yeah.
God damn.
80.
God, yeah. It was like, we're done with John Lennon. Let's bring Casey.
Yeah, like within a month or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. What,
December, because he died in December, right?
yeah, December 3rd.
Yeah.
December 2nd was Darby Crash.
Okay.
Died of a heroin overdose
Right.
from Germs punk band.
Right, right.
I
Love the Germs.
I love the Germs, and when I was younger, I had an incredible.
Crush on Pat Smear.
Oh yeah, right. Rest in peace. He's dead. No, he's alive.
Pat Smear's alive.
I'm thinking of Lorna Doom. She died
Yeah.
a couple years ago. No,
It's crazy that Hawkins died before Pat Smear.
Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins.
Is he in the band? Is that
And
one of the
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters?
So
I didn't.
So
ever,
Pat Smear was the guitarist
No, I know
in
that.
the Germs.
I know that, but I didn't.
Went to Nirvana.
That's right.
And then went to Foo Fighters.
Yeah, he had some eyebrow issues if I ever saw any. Pat Smear. But no, I never.
And
I
sounds
forgot,
like Pap Smear.
Yeah, I forgot the fucking. I never listened to the Foo Fighters, so I never had any
Really?
context for that. I mean, I heard that Hero song. I think.
Really?
It just wasn't my thing, and like
No.
I didn't really.
I
Listen
mean,
to Nirvana.
to-
it took a while to get into Nirvana too. So
For someone that like grew up on Nirvana, like I even
Literally.
didn't listen like to like the Foo Fighters as much as like
I didn't
people
listen to
my age.
contemporary things growing up.
Oh yeah.
It was always older stuff.
Okay.
And even to this day, I did that Spotify Wrapped thing, and
Okay.
I'm realizing I have to be careful with what I say because you're so old. It might not. You might not
you.
fucking understand
Go
what I'm
fuck
talking
yourself.
about.
Go fuck yourself.
I bet you'd like that, you old pervert.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'll just run. You won't fucking catch me.
I am in my flip flops.
Yeah, that's not tactical at all. That's how you
This
know
is-
someone's
this-
not worried
this-
about getting assaulted.
This is
They're wearing
this is how I try
flip-flops.
to zero out the threat level.
There's two kinds of people who wear flip flops: people who are going to get murdered and people who will fucking kill you. Those are the only people who wear.
yeah.
flip-flops.
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
There's not. I don't
You
know.
watch
man.
like an old UFC fighter, old black belt. Like he's wearing flip flops. He's like, please fight me. That's all I know how to do.
right.
I am drunk as hell right now.
I was in flip flops when I flipped my car.
Yeah, you fucking flapped on over the fucking hill, dude. Did you? I when I texted you and I was like, drive safe. I was like, oops.
Whoopsie, too soon. I was like, no, my whole family's
Too soon. I told a joke the next week, bitch. The same week on stage.
No, yeah, that
was great.
Yeah, no, it was
That was
great.
funny.
No, yeah.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for that show.
Oh,
That
dude,
fucking-
thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
That was a bucket list thing, man. Like,
To get made fun of on stage. I'll do it
Yeah.
anytime. I'll do it right now.
thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, because like me and my friends have been talking about doing that shit for fucking ever. I mean,
It sounds like it. You're 42, man.
it's true. That's what
You
I was
were
getting at.
Cutting it pretty close there. Bucket
They,
list.
yeah, they had to invent the microphone so I could do it.
This explains so much more of like why you have
A studio.
a studio and like can afford cameras. Because I was like, how the fuck is this dude our age doing any of this shit?
I'm lucky,
I thought
dude.
you were like,
I'm lucky.
at the most like
I'm lucky.
6-7 years older. than me.
I'm really, financially speaking, I'm probably younger than you, but at the same time, like, anyways, but like, no, I don't have much money. It looks like I do because I'm blessed by the Lord Jesus Christ because like I had a studio, I can say it now because I'm not in it, but the Gemini,
Yeah. Oh, they used to do the rehearsals, or not rehearsals, but
Yeah, I
used to,
had that place
rent
for a
them out
year
a
for
while.
$200 a month.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. I'd be sleeping in there watching Rush Hour 3.
I did try. It was creepy as hell, and there was like pigeons in the wall, so
Oh, man.
it was creepy as fuck. And it was like
Yeah,
a
shoot 'em with
cesspool. Like
BB.
you couldn't go in the bathroom. Like it was condemned. It was condemned.
Dude, I can see my breath.
There's homeless.
Is it that cold in here?
I put on.
I'm not cold. I just saw my breath in here.
It is cold. It gets really cold in here.
I believe it. This is a
There's no
really
heater.
pivotal room in my formative years.
Did you lose your virginity on this couch?
No, I took someone's virginity on this couch.
You took
I can't believe this couch is still here.
It's probably covered in scabies.
I've gotten scabies before. That shit sucks, dude. Nothing like having fucking crabs everywhere.
Now I know you're poor. you were talking about, oh man, I lived at the trailer park or whatever. And now it's confirmed.
Yeah,
It's confirmed.
I believe you.
No, because my brother thought that he had it and we took a trip to like the Seattle area. We had this a whole family went to go throw these ashes of this old lady who died in our family. And
I hope she died. It wasn't just her arm that you guys were tossing out the window.
Turns out. So no, but like my brother, he comes over, cause we all flew separate. We all meet at this like Airbnb, and he comes in and he's like, huh? I think I have scabies.
What a dick.
I was like, you son of a bitch. I don't think he actually had it, but
Human bed bugs. Get out of here.
But he scared everyone, and so everyone was like washing their clothes every night and like trying to like keep their distance, and like, yeah, it put everything on edge. Even though
It's the worst.
I believe it.
It sucks. I had it for like a day or two, and I was like, I think I got to tell my mom.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I think it was just one of my like crust punk friends slept
Right.
over and like slept in the blanket and I used that blanket the next night and didn't even think anything of it.
Right.
And sure enough, it literally, it was like I had like scabs and scars on like my arms, like anywhere I had hair, like my legs and arm hair the most, my hands. It was, they just gave me some like ointment or like and it just went away. But yeah, at first I was like, oh, I think I have something like, like I have a disease, and I go into the emergency room and I give them a fucking like Blue Shield, Blue Cross, like one of the like free insurances, and they're like, no, you have scabies. They're like, I'm sorry, you're too poor to get those diseases. You have scabies, sir.
You thought you had like some like fatal.
Yeah, I was like, clearly I need treatment. And they're like,
Right.
You need a prescription. Get out of my face.
You need
Go
to
to Walgreens.
Yeah, you need to get some ointment. Get the fuck out of my face.
You need to get some ointment.
You need to step out, sir.
There's real citizens that need trouble here. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
bleeding from like 10 holes in my body. That sucked. So you said you always had a bucket list item of like being a comedian or doing stand-up.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like, so like, I did like in high school, I did a little bit of drama and like, then got really big into like music and like video production, and at some point around maybe like 2006, my friend had a house like early on. So like him and his buddy and another like 3 or 4 guys bought a house in Santa Maria, and they called it Casa de Rapscallion. It was like a video production place. It's like we did a couple videos. We did like a short film there, and we did like a couple of like YouTube videos, like early fucking 2006, right? Like
Yeah, I know. I was
early
12.
fucking
It was early.
early
I
fucking.
get it.
I have videos. Yeah, I have videos on YouTube like that are older than like my nephew. Anyways, but yeah. So basically, we kind of started writing stuff. Like we would write sketches and stuff like that. And like my friend was like Brett. My friend Brett is like Brett Poquette. I don't think you've ever met him. He's older, but he's like a freaking sheriff or like a prison guard now, but he's like the funniest fucking motherfucker you've ever met. And I was like, I've been trying to get him to do stand up forever. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it before he does it.
Yeah.
I'll just
Motivate
fucking do it. And my friend Tom, he was going to do it last month, but he said he's going to do it this January 6th.
Cool.
So
Nice. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah.
That'd be really awesome. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to do I think I'll just do like a mix between the
new and old, or
yeah, because I wanted to bring something new to it, and there was a couple things that were new there too, so that was nice. But
Yeah.
a lot of it was shit that I just had from a couple years ago from when I did it across the street here.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, across the street is where I did all the stand up before at the beach.
Oh, they did like an open mic. Like was it?
It
like,
wasn't even open mic. It was a good friend of mine, Tim Pagan, would put on shows, and he was in a couple of bands here. Actually, he had tons of shows here. He would.
Oh, okay.
Mike, who I assume he took the lease over for. Or
Yeah.
whatever, Mike Morales would. They talk and do shows all the time, and then he just got like into it and got good as a promoter for his own local shows, and then asked me to do like some stand up in front of it, and I did 20 minutes. And I was like, holy fuck! I mean,
How did it
took
go?
20 minutes.
It took 20 minutes.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It was my greatest experience of my life.
Oh, that's
up to
awesome.
that point, and I was like, oh shit,
That's dope.
I gotta fucking keep doing this. This is. I
And
always
was
wanted
it
to be a
inside or
comic.
outside at the beach?
You know, the first one was the inside, and then all the rest after that were outside, and they were death. They were.
That's what I
cock.
hear.
They were. It was the worst.
That's
shit.
what-
This was pre-pandemic. The last show I did was the week they were shutting everything down, and if someone told me, "Hey, you know, all shows are going to be outside," I would have been like, "I'm going to fucking crush it at this," because
Yeah.
I already know how to bomb with. I don't. It was horrible. Yeah, my first bomb was just the worst because I had to follow someone who got too high and too drunk, and then they bombed really bad, and they didn't say any jokes or material. But he's a comic and can, so it was kind of like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
we know you are funny and can do funny, but you did no funny.
Why not
and
you
then,
do funny?
And then I walk up,
Yeah.
and then I'm just like, I had to like impersonate someone telling jokes. That's what it felt like.
Right,
It was
right,
like,
right.
I'm
Yeah.
not even funny, which sucks because I know I'm funny just off the cuff,
Right.
which is kind of helped and happened
Yeah.
last month. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I've listened to. I talk like I know what I'm talking about. I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just regurgitating shit I've heard.
Well, welcome to the Bad Etiquette Podcast with Casey Farah and is it Farah? Is that
Yeah,
is that
Farah,
right?
yeah.
Farrell. And Dallas Brownson.
But yeah, if you've listened to this long, but I was waiting. I was like, were we ever gonna introduce? Yeah, no, but yeah, I've heard many a time people like a comedian will say that like the level of the roof. It's like they can kind of tell like
How it's gonna go.
how it's gonna go.
And then if it's outdoors, you're like,
You
fuck,
yeah.
the potential is unlimited.
You have to already be a known entity, and people have to be laughing at you before you say shit. You know what I mean? Like you have to be, because like when you're like gonna do an hour-long special on Netflix and you're at that level, well, that's not the hard part. Getting there is a hard part because you have to like do the work. Now when people come and pay and they're gonna do a show, like you'll literally do takes. You'll be like, oh, that joke didn't work, they'll stop and they'll do another one.
if they're filming. Absolutely.
Yeah, after film, I didn't really realize
That always blew my
Yeah.
mind. So I had no idea for the longest time that comedians told the same jokes
over
and over
and
and
over.
over. Because I saw this video of Ron White in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he was doing the same jokes he did on the first Blue Collar special,
Right.
which is why he did. He was like, oh, I got 10 minutes to fucking murder people with. I will do that. Thanks
Yeah.
for all the money, Jeff. And I was like,
Right.
he's doing the same thing. And that fucked me up. And I kind of got like a little like, it was one of the first moments where you like find out the truth when you're young and
Yeah.
it alienates your own thinking.
Right.
Not a fan of that. But now even now, like even when I tell a joke, like I don't like it to be the same.
I feel
I
you.
like it to
Like
be
the-
a little different every single
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There was another special. I think it was Chris Rock did a special, and it was spliced between 4 shows in 4 different locations, and he was wearing different clothes,
Right.
and it was the
You're like,
same
very-
joke. And I was like, "What the fuck is this shit? He's saying the same thing they think's funny, but those people already heard." I don't know. I was like, "This is
an outrage.
but now it makes perfect sense, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Duh, that's why it's so funny," and they got it dialed in.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like Carlin, like that motherfucker, mile a minute.
Would write it out. You know what I like? Something that I've kind of wanted to do, and I need to take a fucking trip down Adventureland. He would write sober, and he would edit high. So he'd revise it a little stoned or something. And I think that there's a lot to that because there's things to, I don't know, like obviously you probably can't because of your job, but it was really helpful to think like, oh, when I think of being funny when I'm high, like there's might be something to that. And also he started like in the 1960s and he like used to be like very like safe and clean cut. And then just like the hippie got into him and just watching an old Carlin video and then watching him transform into this fucking iconoclast is beautiful. It's great. And I used to watch like all his old HBO clips on YouTube for just hours at night. Once my dad showed me Carlin, I think I'm very fortunate, and I think no matter what my parents would have showed me at a young age, I probably would have ended up doing that just because of how impressionable I was with comedy.
Yeah, what was your first sort of foray?
So my dad would my parents split up when I was really little. They ended up getting back together and then split up again when I was a teenager.
What?
So I had two of the same divorces essentially.
They did an Elon Musk?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking bastards. Except we're not rich. Scabies. So
welcome to Old Man and Scabies podcast.
That's a good
fucking hot.
Good title. My dad had a roommate and he lived in an apartment in Napomo, and there was this great video store, Grey World Video, and we used to rent movies every weekend when I'd stay with him on the weekends.
What city in town here? Or where?
Napomo. Napomo. Yeah. Did you not listen to me?
Nipomo. No, I zoned out on that aspect.
Yeah, it's not interesting yet. It's fine.
Hold on, let me finish. I come in on the end. I get all the information at the end.
just abridged, please. Can I get the condensed story?
I have ADHD.
Anyways, me too. I started taking medication for it. It's changed my life.
That's good. What are you taking?
Strattera.
Okay.
It's a non-stimulant, which sucks because I'm still like chunky, so I gotta fucking like lose. It's not like like the meth kind where you lose weight, and like get things done. I still have like love handles. Fuck! What is this?
I thought I was gonna get
gypped. I know. I tried to get on
Ritalin or
pharmaceutical meth,
Adderall.
and my fucking doctor ended up helping me. The piece of shit.
It works, but now I'm fat.
Yeah. It works, and I'm still fat. Sorry to any fat people out there who are looking at me like, bitch, please.
James Corden, motherfucker.
No, if they're James Corden, he can go fat himself. He's fine.
Yeah.
So, my dad would rent movies, and one time he just got Sam Kinison live at the Comedy Store.
Good heavens. That was your
my first. So immediately, 5, 6, 7 years old. Whatever Sam Kinison sounds like. Yeah.
Virgin slut. You were a virgin slut.
Watching that.
That's like you got fisted the first time out.
Exactly. That's so funny. It's like big old black dick of a comedy special right in my face, and then it kind of like mellowed out.
Was that so? Because was it because you're poor?
Probably. No, yeah, it's because I was broke, my dad lived in an apartment with a roommate when I was a kid. He was because
they don't
younger
watch.
Than you are.
I was a latchkey kind of kid too, in a way. I didn't have really money, so it's like that's the thing. They don't supervise you. Like I watched the Beavis and the Buttheads and no one was watching me.
And then in the same year we watched the South Park movie at his house too. Right. So it was. I don't think it was Raised like a lack of exactly. It wasn't a lack of supervision. It was a lack of quality supervision.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, I'm still a kid. We're definitely watching fucking Sam Kinison and South Park. And also I'm going to go fucking smoke weed.
I would be you know what I mean? It's a good thing I won't have kids because I would do the same thing.
Yeah, probably. Why do you think it's a good thing you don't have kids though? You don't want kids?
I never.
Is it because you probably can't make kids anymore?
No, because I'm too old. Because it's all powder.
Your eggs are all fucking dried
I don't have eggs. It's sperm, motherfucker.
You don't have that either. You fucking crusty bastard.
Do they? Were you pre? Back in your time, had they invented semen, or was it? Did you do like asexual reproduction? Like had you evolved?
Are you just mitosis, you fucker?
Are you a fucking amoeba?
Is that how you reproduced? Yeah, but you don't want kids or what?
I just.
Is it because your partner doesn't want kids?
I think ultimately I was afraid I'd give birth to my brother.
Yeah. Why? Because you'd fuck your mom?
No, because my brother's a lot of work, and I don't think I could raise my brother. Because that's the thing. I
Is he retarded?
always had this. No,
Oh.
not legally. No, I love my brother. Sure. So no, but like, because that's the whole thing. I always kind of felt like I'd watch my nephews and nieces, and I'd be like, I think they're more like me than like my siblings, and so
Yeah.
if I have a kid, I'm probably gonna have, and I can't.
Yeah.
And
You're like, geez.
I was too selfish. I was too spoiled. I was too like doing my own thing, doing
just been,
music,
like, a
doing
generational
whatever.
thing.
And
Yeah,
then, and then
yeah.
I just happened, didn't plan it, to meet a girl who I was just would rather die than have kids.
I'd rather die than have kids. That's beautiful.
So that's not gonna happen. It's just, it's fine. It worked out for me. I was never like, I always kind of early on thought like, I don't think I'm gonna have them.
I used to think that the same way. I used to be like, I don't fucking want kids. I don't need those. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's a
But,
typical guy thing to say.
I
but
think it's pretty normal of
Yeah.
a guy thing. I think what they meant is like, I'm not gonna fucking raise some kids. I'll fuck some bitches. I'm not gonna raise some kids.
Yeah.
Which I'm still like at mentally where I'm like, oh yeah, if I could like be like Genghis Khan and just make like a 2% dent in all human DNA and have sex with that many people and have that
Yeah.
many offspring.
Yeah, why not?
Fuck yeah, dude. That'd be awesome.
Or
What's that many kids?
I didn't see. I saw a trailer. There's a movie in like I think it was like a place in like Texas or Arkansas where a guy was like I think he was like a doctor or something like that, a clinician. Some he had power, and he was like at the semen bank or whatever. Like women would come in, and it was all fucking him.
What a fucking G,
the
dude.
The whole city walks around and like in paranoia, walking around like, is that my sister? Is that my fucking like? Is that my brother? I don't fucking like the fucking whole city is like that.
That's got to be like a city too. It
That's
can't be
like
a small
Twilight Zone.
town. Oh, that's horrible.
Can you imagine? There's a I
can't.
haven't seen it, but
I don't have to imagine it happened. I'll just go look it up.
Well,
That's
yes.
terrifying.
Thank you.
I want to check it out.
Yeah,
I wanna check it
fucked up.
But also, like, could you blame him? Like, for the ego of a doctor. Doctors think they're so infallible too.
Yeah.
And some hot freaking sterile broad comes through, some barren broad, and you're like, wait a second.
I worked at a hospital
think
for
if I
about
fucking-
7 years. I can attest to that.
Yeah. Oh man, when I got my X-ray for my back, the radiologist was pregnant. I was like, you want another one? Can I? She was fucking. She had a mask on. I would have fucked her. It would have been better.
Sick old man. Sick young man. Sick homeless fucking scabies ridden piece of shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So my dad showed me Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
And then I started watching like
And that's why that's what happened.
Jeff Foxworthy, and then Blue Collar, and then sadly a lot of Carlos Mencia. But it turns out that's how I knew I liked comedy. Is he just told other people's jokes, and I was
Right.
like, oh, I love. And you know what? This
Yeah.
is a real story, like something that actually kind of happened when I was younger. Real funny. I wasn't like real white trash.
I'll judge whether it's funny.
I don't care.
I'll
Bring
let
it on.
I'll let you
Fucking
know if it's
lay
funny.
it on heavy, baby. I wasn't like real white trash. I was like white recycle, or like, I wasn't trailer trash. I was like mobile home modest.
You weren't trailer trash. You're trailer recyclable.
Yeah. Like we had cable in the house, but it was definitely stolen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Legitimately stolen?
Oh yeah. Well, my family's never paid for cable in my life. Paying for Netflix is hard for us, I think.
Yeah. You share all one.
Yeah, we're not Jewish. It's just like we're just actually just cheap bastards.
Okay. All right.
If I was Jewish,
A Jewish doctor.
there'd be some snow.
A Jewish doctor is like
around here.
the most like yeah. Because doctors are frugal and like they're chintzy. Like I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that. But anyways,
I
continue.
do.
Yeah,
I do.
But and Jews. Jewish doctors.
I know. I mean, I was a little curious if I was Jewish because I'm circumcised, and I don't know where the fuck that came from because
Okay.
no one except my dad's religious, and it's the Christian kind, and I'm pretty sure they don't give a fuck about foreskin. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like just a hygiene modern thing that I think they kind of just picked up on, like in general. I think it's, I am. I'm not Jewish.
I know. Well, here's the thing: is I need some better answers to why my dick looks like a Neapolitan bar.
You do?
Yeah, I want to know.
I'm too old to tell you. I'm
I-
too straight to tell you.
Yeah, fair enough. We're sitting pretty close on this couch.
We are. I feel
literally
pretty intimately. I could touch you from here.
Oh, you can touch me all you want.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I probably used to be like so homophobic when I was growing up, and now I was just talking to my friends at the bar, like my friend Phil's like, dude, you get like 5 drinks and you kiss one of your friends.
Yeah,
like,
I do
know,
think
it's
you
fucking
get gayer
dumb.
as you get older. I do think that. I think that happens. You just kind of like you
That
just don't
explains
care.
your flip flops.
It does. It's true. It's true. And then once your prostate goes out, then you get real gay.
I bet. I mean, that's why I try to shove it back in every chance I get. Stick a finger up there, a butt plug. You know,
you can joke about it, but it's a true thing.
people's prostates fall out.
Yeah, well,
Like
no,
prolapse?
like when you get old, your prostate increases in size, and it'll cause all kinds of problems. Namely, it'll prevent you from peeing, and you need to have that shit expressed. And
Like a
there's
dog. Get your anal glands
pretty much
expressed like a dog.
Pretty much.
Damn, dude. Know what? I'm gonna order a butt plug tomorrow.
You joke.
I'm not joking. Why would I don't want to fucking have to it to be hard to piss.
It was a fucking nightmare. Like I fucking had to. I should have gone to a proctologist first. I went to a fucking urologist, and you know how like surgeons want to cut, urologists want to stick cameras in your dick. And guess what? I don't care what you do to like try to make that not hurt.
Sounding hurts. You know they call it sounding.
The most painful thing I have ever experienced in my life. They don't tell you that immediately when they pull the camera out, you're gonna piss blood all over yourself. Just run. They're like, oh, you can use the bathroom. I was like, fuck you. I like sprinted across the
Fucking
room.
Jackson Pollock to the
It was
goddamn room. Just,
fucking nightmare.
That's wild.
And they found nothing, and it was a waste of time, money, and pain.
they're like, we used our smallest camera.
They were
for
like,
the
no, what you
smallest
actually need
penis,"
is
and-
pleasure, and that pleasure comes from anal expression.
So they sent you to the proctologist. These dudes are probably gay perverts. And they just
Probably.
fucking like get off on.
And then once you
Double fucking you.
because I was as homophobic as anyone growing up in the fucking 80s, dude.
I mean, I bet, yeah.
because it was like a
because of
thing.
AIDS, yeah. It was like
I mean, I wasn't
people
like
were
I wasn't
afraid
like
of getting gay cancer.
I wasn't like homophobic, like oh no, gay people. It was, but there was like a level, like there's this stigma.
There's an inherent. Everyone's saying faggot. That shit's
Yes,
gay.
and
It's there because it even happened well into my graduating class. Like it absolutely is part of it.
People didn't know I was a guy in high school
I have my doubts about you.
because I was very pretty.
That's why I don't think you're 42.
I
You're
was pretty.
now,
I had
dude.
long hair, and I was 6'2" and 135 pounds. So people they didn't assume.
That sounds like I was choosing my mail order bride. For a
Yeah.
second there.
So Marilyn Manson and I were like the same. So we both had our ribs removed. No, seriously. Like I would go to like Le Beautés with my mom and my sister, and they'd be like, "Hi, girls, what would you like?"
That happened to me when I was 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just so fat, like there was no masculinity. My face was just like soft.
Yeah, you're
They're
so,
like, it's a
yeah,
woman. I had
smooth.
long hair.
Right.
They're like, no man would walk out of the house like that.
Yeah. Right. Right. No.
That's good. Do you have a picture when you were that young?
Not on me.
Not on you? You don't have a Polaroid?
I don't keep. Yeah.
Did they invent Polaroids yet? when that happened?
No, but yeah, no. So you got to put shit in your ass.
You-
And the thing is like because that's the thing. Like, oh fuck, it's so painful. It's not.
I know it's not. I've stuck things in my ass. It feels great.
Yeah, it's not. And that's the thing. Once you realize.
To be fair, I've also
Society-
stuck things in my ass and went, ow, that hurt.
No, yeah. You gotta, but it's a mental thing. More than anything, I think. I mean, you gotta. There's certain things you got to do to make it work, but it's also
Spit on it.
Well, yeah, but because I mean, yeah, if you don't prep the situation, yeah, you're gonna hurt yourself. It's not really meant for things to go up there, but it's the difference between having a camera and trust me, you don't want the camera. The camera's not gonna help you.
I mean, looking at the size of that camera right there, I don't want that in
You
my
don't
ass.
want that up. You don't want up your dick.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I wouldn't even want it up my ass. My dick is not even happening. The different focal
A
points.
wieneroscopy.
Wieneroscopy.
That's what it was. It was a fucking nightmare.
God, that's horrible.
Yeah. I've never been more scared in my life. I've never been in more pain in my life.
Yeah, seriously. I don't think.
It was a waste.
Yeah, I'd be like, can you give me scabies and let me go, please?
I would have preferred it. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Anyway, I don't know, man.
Well, that's cool. I really appreciate the I don't even know how we got connected or how you asked me to do the stand up or if I asked you to.
I think I wanted to just do like an open mic thing or whatever and just kind of be like chill about the whole thing. But I was like, I want to know that some people are actually going to show. And so
Yes,
I was like
so you
talking.
have to
So I was
send
talking to like, it's like a number of people that I was like, I put it out there. First I put it out. I was like, to put out the feeler, you know? And I think the first person that responded was the guy who ended up DJing, Roland.
Okay.
And that's the guitarist from Good Grief. That's
Yeah.
Brett's guy. I don't know if you know him from outside.
Not personally. I just know him from the band and DJing and yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, oh, my friend Max is interested. And so like that, I think they were like the two people that first hit it up, and then I think maybe you responded.
Cool.
Yeah. And so it was just all on that one thread that I was like, okay, cool, this is gonna happen. And so yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea what you looked like, but I had seen your name online for so long. Like if someone pointed like a lineup and I had to like decide which one was you, I don't know if I could have done it. And then I think we were at the Sham. Maybe it was Circus Starts at Midnight show. I have no idea what it was, but we like looked at each other and there was like a oh, that's him. Like recognition of like, I get it. Like it clicked. That's funny.
Yeah.
I remember that. I'm very easygoing, but sometimes I could be incredibly shy too in person. So saying hi to people is a little difficult. So if anyone who is actually listening knows me or recognizes me, like, please just, you can say hi. I am too shy to do it first.
Right.
Most of the time I gotta be drinking.
Right.
Or, sometimes it's not happening.
Yeah. I feel that. I get you. I mean, I think I've gotten a little bit better at that. I was super I never fucking asked anyone on a date. Like all the girls that I dated for like the first whatever.
I mean, you were 6'2", 130. They would just walk up to your tall ass and be like, what's the rest of you look like?
I don't know. Not that they were knocking my door down, but like I'm just saying, like I was pretty shy. And so I'm trying to say, like, as an old wise man with a giant asshole, I'm trying to say that, like, I don't know. I like to think that, like, I got over that a little bit, and like maybe that'll happen too for you. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I for sure. I think like even over the past couple of years, just the way my life has changed and the way I've just had to level up in like career professionalism and just like being a person. And honestly, the Strattera has helped phenomenally. I'm a huge proponent of it. I know some people argue that ADHD isn't like. Is
a poor person without insurance? How do you get it?
Yeah. So
usually?
It was a it was barely covered, and you can tell there's like issues with the insurance covering it because I get like a different manufacturer bottle.
Okay, you got the generic like.
Well, yeah, I get the generics, and I get different generics every fucking. Sometimes I'm like, great. Which
it came from Mexico.
Side effect does this one gonna have? It's kind of funny, but it's also terrifying because I don't want to not have this stuff because it is. So I might actually just pay for it if they don't cover it because it has made such a difference in my life.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very expensive, but the insurance covers the generics. Generic name for it is atomoxetine, and it's great. I think it is. I didn't know it existed, and then the doctor told me about it, and I was like, okay, that's not Adderall, that's not Ritalin, that's not Vyvanse, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. It was that or Wellbutrin. And I was like, I've heard of that. Taking fucking Wellbutrin. I think that's an SSRI.
Oh.
And I was like, I play with too many guns. I
know too many people growing up in like emo culture that like taking there's so many friends that I had that like lost their like libido, gained weight, and continued to be like depressed, but in a different way. Like, it's like I was suicidal, but now I don't care about anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I already was gaining weight, had a bad libido. I just needed some productivity. So
yeah. How long have you been on it now?
Almost a year now.
Okay.
Almost a year now. It's the only drawback for me personally is I get dry mouth.
Okay.
Also, sometimes it burns when I come.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's one of the side effects is like, I think it's ejaculation disorder. I talked about it in an episode a couple months ago. I think it's called stratosphincter. Like
legitimately, that's what it's called.
That's the name of the episode. Stratosphincter.
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
I used to love naming the episodes, so that was a huge like little fun part of it. So anytime I can throw a good name in there or like a good phrase someone uses in an episode, but then I just had a couple where I was like, we just talked so matter of factly. There's
nothing funny in this.
in here. There was no good name. Even it doesn't even have to be funny. It just had to be like poppy. It just had to like really grab me in some way.
Yeah.
But stratosphincter. But yeah, one of the side effects is fucking ejaculation disorder, and it would just like start dribbling out before I was actually having an orgasm. And I was like, hey, this isn't good. This is reflecting poorly on my stamina mode here.
Yeah.
So I,
wow. Yeah, there was a thing. I try not to take meds at all. Like
I'm the same way.
I just don't trust it.
I don't take Tylenol. Like I like
Right.
to not take anything if I can help it.
Right.
But I take a fuckload of supplements and
Okay.
this medication now.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Well, no, I was just gonna say because like the long and short of the whole fucking urology adventure was like it's so stupid. I went to Arizona with my girlfriend and we went and we played Monopoly and I just didn't I was too into the game. And I just fucking sat there for like 3 or 4 hours. I had to pee real fucking bad. And like after that, like for like 2 years, I couldn't fucking pee. Like it like swole up my like prostate or something so fucking like acutely and so badly that for years I was like, and then the doctors like prescribed me this Flomax shit. And I read the side effects and it was like, oh, you won't be able to come and your teeth will fall out. And I was like, no, I'm not taking that. So I just suffered through
Not
it
my
for
teeth.
years. And eventually I was like, I had finally gotten like insurance again. And I was like, okay, let's see what doctors have to say about things. And then, because I was going to the fucking clinic.
See what the Jews have to say about these
Let's
things.
see what the Jews have to say. The Jewish doctors. Anyways, so yeah, no, and so because like I don't, because like they prescribed me like statins and they prescribed me this Flomax, and I was like, I'm not taking either of those fucking things. I just don't trust it, and my family was the same way. They're like, yeah, just get on a diet and like fucking stick something up your ass. You'll be fine. Yeah. You start exercising, stop eating shit. It turns out sleep.
That works for a lot of things. It
Yeah,
turns out.
I do all the stupid things. I don't sleep. I kind of eat. I used to eat really well when I was younger, and I don't anymore.
I ate like garbage growing up. I didn't eat well till about 2 p.m.
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what'd you eat?
I just threw up.
Wait,
I
what?
just threw up all the bad food. I was like, there, I'm done.
Did you legit? Wait, what?
I was just
What
fucking-
did I-
no, I started
bulimic? What's
eating
happening?
a lot better when I had moved into an apartment with my girlfriend in Oceanside, and she started cooking for me, and I started like eating less processed food, and I started eating just more whole foods in general. And then a couple months in, I changed to the carnivore diet.
Oh, okay.
And like animal based. And I wasn't super strict about it, but I was much more strict with what was going in my body in general and just period. I lost like 15 pounds. I looked better than I'd ever looked as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like crazy. And I even said, like, I made a post and I was like, hey, I know this isn't much to look at, but to me, this is the craziest fucking feeling. I took a picture because it might not ever happen again.
Yeah.
And I've been loosely staying, closer to that for the last year or two now. Yeah, it's been about 2 years, and I'm lighter than I've been since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
It feels great. I feel like I look good. I don't have any like glaring drawbacks that I've really noticed, and I do blood work routinely to check to make sure.
Because of the med that you're on, or
Well, not the meds. It had nothing to do with the medication. It was to see if this diet was bullshit and it was actually harming me in some way. Because
it was kind of like extreme, and your doctor was like, "Hey, like,
no,
let's
not
keep-
even that. Not, I have free insurance. Doctor doesn't fuck what I eat. He doesn't know.
Yeah. Okay, no, I feel you."
But it was to make sure that I wasn't doing what, unfortunately, a lot of like my friends who adopted vegan diets would do, where they'd be like, "Oh, I lost a bunch of weight. My confidence went up because I lost weight. I think I look better, so I feel better." And
Yeah.
they get hooked on that feeling, and unfortunately, there's a lot of nutritional and cognitive drawbacks years into their diet, and they're on SSRIs, and they have anxiety disorders, and they're not healthy.
I think some people will. I think some people will like go on a vegan diet, and then they'll like just eat like fucking sugar, or or they'll just eat like like carbs, or like things that are like inherently not as healthy.
Well, here's the good thing about an elimination diet, like a vegan diet, is you're having a lot less access to certain foods, processed foods.
Right.
There's
That's
a
the big
lot
thing.
of junk food
Like,
where it's just
you
like
can cut out sugar and like
Yeah, like processed sugar.
Yeah.
Not even like organic. It turns
Right.
out like organically, naturally occurring sugar is very helpful for people, humans' diet. And I used to be like, no, I'm just not eating sugar.
Right.
Fuck fruit. Fruit's fucking. There's sugar in that. There's no way.
Yeah.
And now I eat fruit all the time, and I like to eat meat and sweet. That's what fruit and fucking steak is pretty much what I like to aim towards. That's a great source of carbohydrates for me.
Right.
Keeps it more natural. But yeah, it's, like with a vegan diet, it's an elimination diet, you're eating less processed food. But something I've kind of noticed unfortunately, a lot of my friends, a lot of people I love and care about, that I wish were not going through the things they are, like depression and social anxiety and anxiety overall, and probably a lack of stamina or libido and things like that. And these poor young women are losing their superficial beauty because there's a lot of nutrients coming out of their teeth, their calcium, and their hair's thinning, and there's all these things that, like society values the way a woman looks regardless of what you're eating. So to do that and kind of see the stark contrast between someone who's was eating maybe a more standard American diet versus someone who's eating more vegan, there's probably going to be a little Venn diagram. There's going to be an overlap of in between those two, looking good. You're looking great. And then there's a decline, there's a downfall. And that's not to say there's not someone out there who's beautiful and functioning great on a vegan or vegetarian diet, or, it used to be like a conviction thing of like, I was just more pro meat and like pro like not fucking being told what to do. And it's kind of sadly and gradually turned into like, oh, my friends don't have cholesterol in their brain to form new opinions. Literally.
Right.
Literally. And that's terrifying. Not that they don't have cholesterol, but they don't have like the protein synthesis and nutrients to open their mind some more.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to get on a tangent, and I know everyone has a vegan friend, and everyone has a gay friend, and everyone has a Jewish doctor, and I love everyone for what they have to
And
offer.
I hate everyone equally. Yeah.
No, just Jews. just the Jews. Sorry. I know everyone's probably like Kanye exhausted. But I gotta say that Black Skinhead song means something completely different now. Gold Digger, not about a woman, about a Jew, actually.
Oh, dude, did you know Ace of Base?
Yeah. Oh,
that story?
Yeah. That's so funny. They were Nazis.
Yeah.
Right?
I
saw the sign.
Yeah.
And they named their song after Ace of Spades, a Motorhead song.
Well, so it's not bass, BASS.
Yeah, it's
BASE,
like based.
like the Ace of Bases, which was the only Nazi camp that survived World War II.
That's what.
There's
No
a whole.
way.
So like I in my early video production days, I was blessed enough to work with Cracked.com.
Oh wow!
And
That's cool.
so-
Hell yeah, I used to go on all the time.
Yeah, a little name drop, but no, a lot of great people. But they had an article.
I'm putting that
was
in the description. It's gonna get some clicks.
Yeah. They're cool guys. But anyway, and girls, and the After Hours, like the first episodes After Hours, I was like working on set with those. Anyways, they had an article that was like, it's more, they can do it way better than I can, but go back, check out the article on that. And it's just all the little bullet points are hysterical. The freaking, it's like, all she wants is another baby. It's about a Jewish woman who's just wants fucking babies. And they legitimately had, but if you can go and listen to it, you can go and listen to recordings of the punk band they had that was literally a neo-Nazi punk band.
What was the name?
I forget that.
Oh
I
my
forget
God.
it. I forget what it might have been the same fucking name. It might have. No, I think they changed it. But it's like if you listen to the lyrics, it's like it's obvious, and they have like fucking swastikas and shit.
Yeah.
Like no, it's so weird.
It's Screwdriver, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
You ever hear of Screwdriver, the neo-Nazi band?
No, but it could have.
That's like the neo-Nazi band.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I think, yeah.
It's bizarre, yeah, and they're so like.
That's
went under
wild.
the radar,
That's super
hardcore.
wild. Yeah, because I listened to that song.
Oh, everyone
all the
did.
time.
It was all over the
It's
fucking
still on
radio.
the
It still
radio.
plays. It's still on the radio.
Which is funny because that Dire Straits song. I want my
MTV,
Yeah. They edit faggot out of there now
Okay.
on the radio, which
Okay.
makes sense. A little late, but
Yeah.
makes sense. I'd imagine if people knew what Ace of Base, what they were throwing around there, that wouldn't be on the radio anymore. We wouldn't be listening
Wait
to
for
this
it. Wait for it. It takes time to come back around. Something that's like that, like stealthy.
Yeah, it's
like
pretty
it will.
stealthy.
It'll have its.
There's people listening right now, like what?
What? Dude, we're in such a cancel culture moment, like that. It's like, oh yeah.
Do you ever cancel things yourself, like not cancel them, but you're like, this would not make it?
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
things I'll
Carlin. I mean, if you
watch.
listen to just like Carlin nowadays, even that, it's
That's
like
wild.
it's you listen. I was listening
He
to
was
like
such a like lefty, like
Yep.
very,
Yeah.
and a lot of the ideology that people probably began their like political journey
Yeah.
with, they would probably jive with a lot of Carlin opinions.
right.
And I know I did.
Right. And I know like Bill Maher is like another fan.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah,
huge fan of, and I know he's like left, but he's also like, I don't know.
He's like center left now
I-
because of how fringe.
I feel that way more and more all the
ideologies have
time.
become.
Like I
I
personally,
think that's very normal.
Yeah.
As much as everyone likes to say, like, "Oh, I feel like I'm just going to the right of the way I felt."
Yeah,
now,
I think. Well, I feel
think
everyone else is.
age.
going-
Yeah, everyone's just diving.
I was like, I'm where I always was. You're moving.
That's what, and that's what I used to say. I used to have this argument with someone who was. She was like, "We're just not the same anymore." And I'm like, "No, I'm literally the same.
Yeah,
I'm literally
yeah.
like, I've changed my opinion about a couple things, like taxes. I fucking hate that shit. But like everything else
Right,
is the
yeah.
same. It's everyone else that's like freaking out about fringe culture and something that's very informative is that old people app I use.
Grindr?
No, I took the word out of my mouth. No, Facebook. I'll go on Facebook Memories and I'll go, oh, see, look, I posted something political. I still believe that, but if you said that now,
You'd be in
not
trouble.
Fucking happening.
You
You know
know,
what I mean?
yeah.
And so that's very, affirming in like an egotistical way.
I legitimately was like not sure, like where you stood, and
like when I came,
I have
don't
I have
think
friends all over the
anyone
place. My brother's really hardcore, like he voted for Trump and all that shit.
Yeah.
He wouldn't now, but he did. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and then there's the rest of my family, So I'm like I like to, and that's the other thing. Like when we're talking about like growing up and like being like with goth kids, but also like I work on bass. It's like there's I
there's
live.
a conservative culture too.
The things I have
Military
heard
bases.
will melt your skin. Like it's insane. But
I work in the trades, blue collar. There's absolutely,
and that's the thing. I tell people, I go like, you don't realize that like, it's just like blue collar workers tend to they skew that way for because the thing that my conservative brother would always say, and that's a cliche and everyone knows it, but it's like, and I think there's some truth to it, is like if you're young and you're poor and you're in college and you're not a liberal, you don't have a heart,
and then if you're 30, you don't have,
and if you have, or if
not
you, the way
conservative,
he
you don't
said
have
it
a
was like,
brain.
if you have a business and you're, of a certain age, and you don't have a brain if you're not a Republican. And there's some truth to that because it's about self-preservation.
It is.
And,
it is.
and-
There's a lot of parallels with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
but the way I look at it is it's like, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I always kind of saw the left and right as being mom and dad.
I like that. I know where you're coming from. Red and blue as like mom and dad colors, not just like the blue Democrats or red
Yeah.
Republicans, but there's a.
The Republicans
they're
tend,
different for a reason.
are
and
conservative. They're
it's-
protecting. They're trying to keep like the borders and all that stuff. And you need that to a certain degree. You don't want to go crazy. And then on the other side, it's like the nurturing and the welfare and
Yeah.
and then you need both of those people in a family unit
Yes.
to balance. But when one of them is an abusive spouse, it's an issue, right?
Yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it
Yeah.
because you're like, Jesus, fucking one of them's an alcoholic. This one
Yeah,
of them's on
and-
drugs.
and I-
One of
and-
them's
and people-
abused. There's
and-
a great
And it's
realm of
really
analogy
ultimately it's money is where it's the
there. It
real
always
issue
is.
because
It
left and
always
right
is.
it's
because no matter what, like if you're in a home and you don't have money like that,
yeah.
you get scabies. It fucking
Right. Yeah. I mean, like a super rich Democrat and a super rich Republican are kind of the same at a certain point.
Even look at the bill they just passed is a $1.7 trillion spending bill. A lot of Republicans vote for that, and it's not a conservative thing to vote for such extreme spending. And there's a lot of people who are more genuinely fiscally conservative that are like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Mitch McConnell? What the fuck, Mitt Romney? Like people who voted for it, and they're like, can't. That's one of the funny things is people like to say the left eats its own, and they will like destroy someone for like not agreeing with them.
Yeah.
But that's happening with
The right. Yeah,
now,
that's
because there's a lot of
it's
what
become
is it?
polarized. I think Trump
It's
really polarized it up.
Yeah, I know. That's fucking crazy. I did not appreciate that person for who he was
Before,
until way later.
No, like
Yeah,
I
I definitely-
he's a quirky idiot.
Yeah.
And he was a
Yeah.
clown, and then he got into power, and like, oh no, he's a monster. he's an outright monster. Like,
Oh, now I miss the man. I never voted
For
for him,
what?
and I know that disappoints some of the people who like me and know me, and what's funny is when I was younger, I was worried about more upsetting like my lefty friends,
Yeah.
and now as I've gotten older, I'm much more worried about upsetting my conservative friends.
yeah.
But they don't give a fuck. They
Yeah.
won't care. They'll still talk to me.
That-
now they'll just call me a pussy.
And that's
It's
that's
kinda
that's the
different.
thing I try to tell like my girlfriend and other people that are genuinely scared to like cross an aisle and have a conversation. I'm like, no. The fear is the problem.
It is
the
the
fear
problem.
is the
It is the
problem
problem.
because like the moment you stop talking and dehumanizing the others, like what Bill Maher says all the time. It's like you can hate Trump, but you can't hate the followers because it's half of the fucking country.
It is.
And we believe stupid shit all the fucking time. Like you'll believe all everything we fucking know right now in 10, 20 years is going to be so fucking laughable.
Subverted and
it's
wrong. It's gonna be hilarious.
it's-
Once AI fucks everything up, like everyone's gonna be like, I can't believe we took Dukes of Hazzard off the air. That was our bad. I'm so sorry. I know everyone can read my brain and my thoughts right now, and I didn't know I was a pedophile. It was just in there. I think it's just what if AI makes it find out everyone's like secretly a little bit pedophile?
Oh, I have a theory that 80% of the population has been sexually
Mistreated in
mistreated in some
I've
way.
been sexually mistreated, but I asked for it and there was a safe word.
Right. But I mean, yeah, because I mean, it's like I should know way too many, and like, and if I tell people that, then I hear all these stories, and it just
It's weird. It just opens it
It's-
up, invites it, and I think it's such a common occurrence, and that's one of the weird things where some people will tread so softly about not joking about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of look at it in a contrast of like, I'm going to joke about that because everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because everyone like had like someone who made them feel uncomfortable.
I-
In an extreme way or a subtle way.
it's an easier thing to say than to live, but like
Fuck
the
yeah.
way I was raised, it's like my mom was really big into self-help.
Yeah.
And so like I grew up with all this like pop culture self-help guru kind of bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and I legitimately when I was 10 years old went to the children's forum, which is like this brainwashing thing. You go to LA and they tell you all this they tell you that the world is empty and meaningless.
Okay. I didn't
And-
see.
and-
I just stayed home to find that out. That's
Yeah.
funny.
And little children would cry and they would freak out and because they were 10.
That's the most wild.
But it's
dark
true.
shit
I
I've
think, but the point, it's like a clickbaity way of saying that it's like not what happens in life. It's what you make it mean. Right. It's like, and the worst things that can like rape, like, it's like two people could be raped and then one will have one reaction. The other will have the other reaction. One will go off and become like a public speaker and change the world. And the other one will shoot themselves. It's like, I was sexually assaulted as a child, and I know lots of people that were, and it's like, and as a little kid, like I said, I was like, oh no, something like I was like 6 years old, and I said to my mom, like, oh, something bad happened, and so it's like, to me, like
That was wild.
to me,
What?
like the idea of like the whole like gay culture, like there's so many. I don't trust culture like at all. Like I feel like everything that we think is true will soon be flipped, because it's like it's not what it's happened is what you make it mean, and the culture changes all the time. It's like people always talk about like Romans, like, like,
Yeah.
oh, the bathhouses, like everyone was gay. I heard an interesting thing, like they would have like, you've heard that, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
heard an interesting twist to that.
Or
which
like every philosopher we love and quote to this day was like fucking young boys and their
But
students.
but here's the interesting thing that I heard recently
That's
that I
pretty
didn't
interesting.
realize, which was it was about being a bottom or a top. Like it was not gay to fuck a dude, but it was gay to be fucked by a dude. So if you got fucked,
I still think that.
yeah, yeah. But that's because that's, I mean, it's like, because to me it's like, you know, like, I don't know. It's like, I know personally I'm attracted to the feminine side of things, you know,
Yeah.
but it less and less do I feel like, you know, like gender is an important, like, I don't know, like I have all these really wild theories about like gender.
Yeah.
That are, I probably shouldn't say
Probably
in
shouldn't
public.
say.
but
It's
I
always
don't-
such fucking trouble to
I'm not even sure it exists.
gender.
Well, like, so like I come from like a science background.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so like when I think of like, I've had this conversation with my girlfriend. I don't know if she's like, I don't want to hear this, but like,
She probably turned me off a while ago if she's listening to the
Probably-
podcast. She's
probably.
like, "No, I'm good.
so the way I look at it is like, okay, so like sex is a new invention.
Intercourse, or do you mean sexual?
Well, like, so like you have a man and a
category.
woman and
Yeah.
they procreate, like
Male and female.
that's a new invention. Because there was a fucking amoeba, like they're single-celled
Yeah.
organisms were how it started, and they would self-reproduce. Lots of fish,
Mitosis, of
yeah,
course.
exactly. Lots of fish do it. Lots of lizards do it.
Yeah.
They just they clone
Single
themselves.
cell organisms do it to this day.
Right. A lot more things probably do it than don't do it. Like it's not the norm. At some point in evolution, it could be that we need 3 people to reproduce.
Do you think for any reason it would get to an extra number?
I
that?
I can't like quote right now off the top of my head like a species that does that. I'd be really hard pressed to believe that there isn't, because I mean there's like, you know, there's fucking seahorses, there's like some fish change their sex. You can an alligator can like sit on its nest, change the temperature of the eggs, change the sex.
Here's the interesting thing is that those organisms aren't ruining people's livelihoods or like assaulting children for the sake of their procreation.
Yeah.
And that's where it's really interesting, where it is quite literally like socially constructed in human culture, where it's like, hey, we fuck each other and there's a nuclear family and you're fucking all of that up with that wig, dude. or you know, whatever it may be, you know, insert example here.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna be assholes. I don't care if they have a penis or not. Like, there's people that eat people, and they're men and they're women. Like, I listen to some really fucked up podcasts. And I stopped the last podcast on the left. If you've ever listened to that.
Everyone suggests this to me. I've tried listening to it.
It's great.
I haven't.
It's awful. It's great, but it's awful.
It's such a. Yeah, I feel like it's right up my ass. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It sounds, because I love horror movies. I love talking about movies, and I love like foot and mouth.
Henry
stuff.
Zabrowski. There's like 3 guys. There's a guy that's like
One of them passed away a couple years ago. I thought that was a friend of the podcast, or like the last podcast on the left.
not that I'd heard of. I don't know.
Okay, then
maybe
maybe I'm conflating something.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell me what you're saying.
I listened to it like a lot for a while, and then I kind of stepped away, and then I've kind of come back a little bit. But there's like the main guy who kind of does a lot of the research, and he is like got the radio voice. He's like really on top of it. And then you have like the 2 other hosts that like just like are like kind of like dick jokes.
So
like
it's like a morning zoo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is. But it's like sort of like a, I don't know. It's a great like a novelization or a narrative sort of story that they're like did all this research for. Like there was a really cool one all about like the Mormon, the history of Mormon is fascinating. Like grave digging, like alien, like yeah. They because there was like a lot of grave robbing in like Egypt that was happening, and people would come and sell like mummies and shit like that, and they would like this family would like the Jacob Smith or whatever the guy, he was like
Smith,
Joseph Smith, thank you. They were like right hand magic, like soothsayer phony people that would like grave rob, and they would like
Shocker.
Yeah, it's snake oil.
No
It was
surprise.
such
Like chiropractic.
such an interesting story, and there's like 5 fucking hour-long podcasts about
That's
it. They
cool.
go deep dive.
Dude, is there
but it's
anything better than when a podcast does like multiple episodes on a subject like that?
yeah, thank you for doing the research. It was so fucking entertaining because like there's so many dick jokes and like Henry Zabrowski, he does like such a great job of like just like I don't know. He's a funny dude. He's like rapid fire.
Steam rolls over.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's hysterical.
Just has a
he does
good-
the voices and shit like that. Like he'll take on the character. He'll like read.
Yeah,
It's great. You really dig it.
I honestly,
but it gets
I believe
gross
you.
sometimes. Like when they talk about serial killers, like there's some shit. Where I'm like, I don't know if
Yeah.
I can handle this right now.
Really? Oh man, no, I'm all in. Like I used to be a little squeamish when people would talk about anatomical stuff for some reason, and I've almost cured myself of it.
Yeah.
That I fainted within the last year getting my blood drawn.
Okay.
And it was so weird because it's like,
Is that a new
no, this happened my whole life. Like blood.
vasovagal syncope?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I called it syncope forever, but it's syncope. And it was just such a giant drop in blood pressure. And ironically, I think one of the things that's helped me not faint or not be squeamish is this fucking medication, because it makes my
Interesting.
heart rate double.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in the mid 40s beats per minute, and now I like sit at like
It sounds like
90, 100.
it sounds like the
beats a minute.
opposite of lithium or something almost. Like do you know how that?
Possibly.
Do you know how lithium works?
I'm not entirely familiar, no, but talk to me.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I was listening. So there was a woman. She was doing a podcast, and she had issues and stuff for her whole life, and they finally got her on lithium, changed her life. She went from being like, wanting to jump off the buildings to like, being like a productive citizen, like worked for like NPR or some bullshit, was like, doing well for herself. And then they found out, oh, you've been on it for like 10, 15 years. And now your liver is going to be destroyed if you don't get off it right away. But the way it works is it's a bad version of salt. So like you need like salt is like
Sodium levels.
yeah, like it's like a fundamental way that like all of your like ion channels and your cells, like they communicate through.
You'll die without salt.
Yeah, sodium ion channels or whatever. Like if you take physiology, it's like potassium and
So
salt.
one of the electrolytes
like
you absolutely need.
Absolutely crucial for every cell. But lithium is like a poorly absorbed salt, so it like is inefficient, and so it basically like is like gumming up the works, and it like slows down like the crazy talk in your head when you're like schizophrenic or whatever it is, bipolar. Like you got too many like your dopamine's going off the charts, and so you literally just put like a sand in the gears.
Yeah, that's kind of what mine's a norepinephrine inhibitor,
Okay. So you have
an NSRI.
yeah, so you have an inhibitor, which is kind of like lithium, right? Yeah. So now,
Interesting.
but it makes your heart rate go up.
So my heart rate went from an like extremely athletic level to like what a normal person who probably just like plays video games and just goes to work and doesn't do anything physical, heart rate wise.
Right.
I don't know if that helped me with like weight loss too, because my heart's going like my threshold so much higher, and I'm like constantly moving. Like a cat would just like purr, their heart rate goes up.
Right.
Like, it's just healing. I don't know what, but
Like you're almost like your metabolism is like.
yeah, exactly. And my conversely, I've been in such incredible pain since May from my back injury that I have.
I don't know. Did
hernia-
you talk?
No, I kind of brushed on it on like podcasts, and I kind of like mentioned it on like Instagram or whatever. But it's really just whenever like a good acquaintance or close friend sees me, they're like, "How's your back?" Because
they know it's a problem.
Because I've stopped everything I know, do, and love, and
Wow.
just work and drink outside of work. So that's all I've done. But yeah, I have 4 herniated discs in my back right now, and I just stopped a 6-day steroid regimen.
Oh no.
And my liver was killing
Oh
me
my God.
from it. I felt like someone punched me in the liver. It's fucking horrible
Oh my God.
for like a one day. But my back feels a little better.
What do
from
they?
it.
What
I'm
is?
getting an epidural
Oh my God.
cortisone shot.
Okay.
In January. So
Back pain, dude.
it is
like
absolutely like I've never thought about suicide so much in a practical way.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, how much longer till I can just stop feeling this and we'll die? It's
okay.
the worst. Not in like a I need help, depressed kind of way. It's literally like, okay,
Well, yeah,
I need to
pain-
stop.
that's
this
the thing,
function. It is the worst pain in my life. I've never been in this much pain, in constant pain. I always look like I'm in a bad mood because I'm in a fucking bad mood all the time. Like there's like a chip on my shoulder. I used to like pretend there was a chip on my shoulder just to be like edgy. Now I'm like, fuck, I willed it into the universe of like,
Yeah.
I am constantly like just needle-eyed, just like
Yeah.
just in pain, like intense, just fucking just amped up. It's brutal to
Yeah.
complain. Thank you for indulging me.
No. I mean, it's like back pain is like one of those things. I mean, it's like it's amazing how fragile we are and how like just a little bit of like nerve damage or whatever, and you're like, oh, I just want to kill myself, like
Absolutely.
because, yeah. I mean, it's like I've like I'll have like a little like spastic like nerve thing from like the sciatica or
yeah.
whatever, and I'll be like, oh, if that doesn't go away, like I had like fucking tinnitus for like a couple months.
Oh man, did you do shrooms? Get rid of it?
It just died. It's just those little cilia or whatever the fucking in my ear. They just died.
Kind of tinnitus where it's not a ringing, it's like a whooshing, it's like a crumpling sound.
Oh, okay. Is that from loud noise or from?
I'm
Is
not
it
sure if it's from
nerve?
a combination of loud noise, like just listening to shows in here without earplugs,
Right.
shooting guns without earplugs.
Oh yeah. Well, that'll do it. Fuck.
Yeah, now I have electronic earmuffs I wear at work even. It's so nice. But I can't sleep on my right side at all. Like it just
Because
is,
it just.
it is. It sounds like someone's crumpling a bag of chips
Ugh.
underwater, and I have like my ear pressed against
That-
like the fish tank while they're doing it.
It's- This is a dark path. Huey Lewis.
Talk to me.
He was contemplating suicide because of his like mass exposure to noise over the years. Like he said like he had like this. It sounded like a bomb going off. Like just continue like all the noises like that he's ever heard all being played at once.
Seriously, like okay.
And so he was like, I'm fucking, if this doesn't go away, like I'm just gonna have to, like end it. And he's like pretty healthy otherwise. He's an older gentleman, obviously, but yeah, it's.
American Psycho came out, saved his life.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Fucking you.
I can't remember if it's in the movie or in the book, but Patrick Bateman's like, I didn't like his older stuff. Sounded too black for me.
Black. Oh my God.
And I didn't know Huey Lewis was a white man until he said that, or I read that.
George Carlin had a thing. I was just watching his like C-SPAN. He did a fucking thing on C-SPAN. It went for like 2 hours, and he was talking about
His filibuster.
people being openly black.
That's funny. You know what's weird is like I think as a society we've come so far, and
So Colin Powell's not openly black.
No, he's not. That's so funny. That's such a real thing. Is like we have come so far as a culture that like I see black kids that are white as hell.
Right.
And they're like they have like earrings and like tight jeans, and I think it's post Odd Future, Wolfgang, Tyler the Creator, where black kids started adopting white culture, and
the
making
golf
it cool, and it's like
culture.
way cool. Period.
Did you watch Atlanta?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't
There's a
watched it yet.
hysterical clip of it's like a black kid who's like he associates as white as a white man. It's like a not mockumentary thing. Yeah,
Fuck off. I want to see that. Oh, I need to watch Atlanta
It's
for
good.
sure.
It's good.
But yeah, I was. I think I was at Starbucks, and there was a black kid behind the counter, and he was like, being like a little like sheepish and like effeminate. And he wore like round Harry Potter glasses, and I swear he had like an earring, and like he had like tie-dye socks or something. And I was like, where the fuck is this cracker going? Who's this social anxiety fucking
Yeah. I mean, it's always been there. It's just like more accepted, I think. It's like
no, exactly. Which is funny because how many times do you look at a white guy and you're like, Jesus, you're not black. What are you doing? What are you listening to? The most popular music in the world? There was like this like idea of like, oh, you can't do that. That's what like someone else does. And that's what I meant. It was like we've come so far as like a culture and society that like those kind of ideas are becoming quickly archaic, and it's just falling by the wayside.
Yeah,
and I like it. I like it because it's shaking things up.
Yeah,
and when I go into Starbucks, I'm like, that's not a white kid. Why does he dress what I think's cool?
Yeah, short circuit.
It's really It's really good.
I used to joke
For,
that I was like, I can't wait till everyone's gray, you know, like
Yeah. And
just
pieces.
mix the races so goddamn much that it's just you can't tell. And then I always think of the episode of South Park with like the otters or whatever they are, and they're all like atheists. There's like 3 classes of atheist.
What?
You haven't seen this episode? It's amazing. It's
No,
like,
I'm not South Park.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God.
Initiated. Really.
So there's like an episode. I think it's the one about Richard Dawkins, and it's like in the future.
Yeah, the atheist guy. Yeah.
Yeah, in the future, we've become so evolved that like otters are like sentient creatures, and they're like they rule like, you know.
Yeah.
And there's 3 classes of them. They're all atheists, but they're like, we're the Atheist Alliance Association. We're the Alliance Association of Atheists, and they all hate each other, and they're all going to war.
Oh my God.
Because they're, you know, the little differences.
Yeah, little subtle differences, little trivialisms.
We'll find a reason to hate each
That's
other. Don't
funny.
worry, we'll find a reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that, like, it's funny, makes things funny, is like pointing out differences, contrast.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I think what I'm saying is like, I used to be petrified, and I think that's what prejudice comes from, is a fear of the unknown.
For sure.
And I think I was just be petrified of like, oh my God, like the things I know and love and like are like getting lost. But it's actually become so different and so much more intermingled, and just it's a really darkly beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Although I fucking hate how many goth kids there are now, because
You're not goth.
Yeah, I was like, you're not goth. No one called you an emo faggot, and no one held you in the principal's office because they thought you were gonna be a school shooter. You are
Right.
not. It's
Yeah,
all the people
yeah.
who like would have.
Now you're starting to sound like the old man in the room.
It's so true. I got called an old fucking man my whole life. You're such an old soul, which is like everyone's
backhanded
favorite
compliment.
way of saying like, I wish
You're
I could have
racist.
molested you. Yeah, you're racist.
You're an old soul.
Everyone's nice way of saying, I like you, kid. You know the same slurs I do.
Yeah. You like
I
that?
like you, kid. You got hit growing up like a
You
person.
have a tattoo of the Confederate flag. I appreciate it. Old school.
Years ago, I bought a Confederate flag knife because I knew, this was pre Dukes of Hazzard being canceled, because I knew it was going to be
An item of
eliminated from culture. Like,
Yeah,
it was
you're-
going to be how people collect Nazi memorabilia.
yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
It's true.
oh, I'm going to get, so I have
I'm gonna get so
somewhere-
rich off this.
Yeah, I have a fucking Confederate flag switchblade somewhere in storage.
Yeah.
Just like, I got it when I was a teenager. I love knives. I was like, oh, I think this is the way to go. It was like at a swap meet or something.
There's so much shit. When my grandpa died, we should have kept some of it. There was some awful shit. There was like a human femur.
No way.
There was a shrunken head.
Dude, you know, I want
There was a
shrunken head.
goat's leg knife.
A goat's leg knife. That
Yeah.
sounds badass. A couple of years ago, I asked for because Facebook Memories comes up and it's all December stuff right now. I asked for a human skull for Christmas. I wanted a.
It's like $1,000, isn't it?
Really?
You can buy them. You can buy
believe it,
medical
yeah.
grade skulls, but
all
they're really
Indian. They're all
expensive.
Indian though.
Oh well,
They
those
all
ones
have
are
a
probably
dot on
cheap.
them. There's a dot burned into.
Oh no! I've heard that like in the movie industry, people would go to India because you know they
Life's cheap.
they
in
would
India is what they say.
literally like they would be a line. They were like, here's a stunt, and then they would be like a line of people like being paid like $2 to go do it. Like if you fail at this, then the next guy's gonna run in
over your
do it.
corpse. To do
Pretty
it.
much.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, my science teacher made a joke because we had a skeleton in the classroom, and he's like, "Oh, they're from India because life's cheap in India."
Sad.
And this is funny because he was doing it like at the expense of our Indian classmate Dylan. What's his last name?
Yeah, let's call him out.
I know his
Nahasa
name. I can
Pedopetalon.
see it clear as day. Well, not clear. It's kind of brown, but it.
Yikes.
Anyways, I'm not racist or sexist or homophobic, but
It's
jokes
racial.
are
It's
jokes.
not racist
so
humor.
hard
It's
to
racial humor, guys.
Oh yeah. I used to say that. That's funny. And then I was like, well, no, I was actually being racist when I was driving.
Yeah,
You know what?
Well,
that's,
but we
that's
got to
the most racist.
the way we started the podcast. We just got to double down that we're assholes.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning, be like, hey, listen, like I'm not a nice guy.
Or just two fucking white guys.
I'm the privilege. I wear
holding
proudly.
microphones. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Your dad.
It already happened.
No,
Oh, fuck.
no. When I was a little kid, I probably a zoologist, and then
Every time I ask someone, it's something to do with animals.
Yeah.
No one just wanted to murder animals. You fucking
murder animals.
No, okay, hunt or kill animals or fucking.
Well, yeah,
I never
but
get a serial.
I'm from
killer on-
California. I don't know. I mean, my family's from Seattle, and we moved when I was like 6 months old. To
God, a bunch
fucking,
of libs.
So yeah, my dad's in Florida.
Bunch of pale
but he's
libs.
he's the one liberal in Florida. No, but it's like, yeah. And then shortly after that, I think I just I don't know, like I thought I would do something creative. Like my friends were all really super artsy and shit, like drawing and like music.
So when did you
like,
start hanging out with gay people?
like I didn't know. I legitimately didn't know that my friend in elementary school, this big Mexican dude named Alex, like until like high school, I was like, oh, you were gay the whole time. I had no idea.
Oh, I remember.
But everyone assumed I was.
I still do.
I do too. But I've established that I don't think it exists. I don't think
Oh,
homosexuality
okay,
exists.
fair enough.
I
I mean,
think
there's
it's a construct of the
definitely
culture.
something to that.
Well, no,
Where it's like,
so much of what we think
I think
is our
porn-
belief is really just habit.
yeah, and I think porn like kind of opened Pandora's box of.
Literally.
Oh, I need to check something. Pandora, you get a nice box. It just opened the floodgates of like
the
I need
gateway?
something.
The gateway?
Gateway.
Dude, watching like
The dichotomy.
legitimately seeing like hermaphrodite porn and seeing like transsexual porn like at a young age, like you're like, oh well, like
Why do I like tits, but there's a dick in the way?
what has happened? No, because I mean life is really messy, and the idea that we understand it is bullshit. I will get on a soapbox and I will tell you like that I will get really weird about it and
I
be
love
like,
that. I really do love that because it's so accurate.
yeah, it's we know fucking nothing. You know, that whole cliche of like we the visible spectrum of light is teeny tiny, and we like we live for a short ass period of time, and we only and like 50 years ago we basically thought like all disease came from fucking four humors, the fucking red bile, blue bile, like all that shit, like all the fucking bullshit, like stuff that was in medical journals, like homosexuality was a disease, like all there's so much.
Well, that's still true though.
It's still true. I agree. But no, you know what I mean? Like what we know the more like as you get older, people always say is that like, oh, the more I know, the less I know.
I know more than ever, and I know nothing.
Yeah, because you question everything, because you go, everything I fucking was on a soapbox when I was 20 and being like, this is how it is. And then I go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Scientists like don't even know what the fuck they're talking about half the time.
That's something that kind of has sucked to know as a adult in the current day and age, is that a lot of scientific research is bought and paid for to find results they want. And it's really unfortunate because it's like, oh, the person who's funding you can kind of base your findings on whether they want to pay you for it or not.
It's ultimately, it's like the systems are all fucked up because like the incentive is all money, right?
It's because people are so fallible. It's because people really just want
they want to survive,
everything
and they want the things. And they
is
want
it survival?
Well,
or is it
they want to. Well, they
indulgence?
want to thrive, but they all not everyone. Yeah, if everyone was just about survival, maybe it would be a little better. But everyone wants to step on everyone else to get there, and it's the altruism's like a rarity.
It's not that. It's funny because there's enough altruism out there that you're like, oh, a lot of people are doing this. There's just so many people that it's overshadowed
it's
by
the 10%. Yeah, it's the 10%
Yeah.
of the leaders that step over other people that fuck it up for everyone else. You know?
And we could be completely wrong about that too.
We could be, you know. And ultimately, all we ever do is just like spout bullshit that we heard someone else say, and it sounds good in the moment. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I spout like, I don't know, fuck all.
It's a really humble and intelligent place to come from, where it's kind of like a fail safe too. And like I said, like the name Bad Etiquette Podcast, like it was like, I'm gonna say something I'm gonna regret, and I'm gonna go,
Here we go. Hold my
"Oopsies, I
beer."
named it the Bad Etiquette Podcast, not the I Know What to Say Now podcast.
Right.
So it, built-in excuse, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of levity to that, and I couldn't agree more that like we don't know fuck all. And I'll even, go back and listen to the podcast and I'll go, oh, you're so cute. That's not how you
That's
feel
how you
or
really
think
feel.
anymore. Yeah. And I think the better connections, better conversations I've had is just having to learn to listen in a better place, and just be honest in the moment.
Yeah.
Like with it, because it's like I can steer a conversation
Yeah.
one way, but if I'm not being honest, it's not going to be good for me. And I don't know. To me, it's just more authentic, and I want the authentic listeners.
I don't know about
People
you.
who are attracted to
Tell
that.
me if this is how you were when you were a kid, because I feel like growing up, a lot of like the anxiety, at least for me, coming up is like, who am I? What am I? What am I doing? What do I believe in? What am I standing for? I want to like people that are
Embark
people
and
that are
be
in
a-
charge, people that get things that they want, that get the girl or get whatever it is, or the confident ones that have a belief and I never had a tattoo. I was too afraid I would fucking like, oh, I hate this, like.
Oh, it happens. I hate them. I hate a couple.
Right. And so like I was so like, but then the people that are successful, especially at a younger age, are the people that take the risk and they do the thing. And then you look at them late and they look at themselves, like, oh yeah, I fucking hate that person. It's like when I was an idiot when I was a kid, but you were famous and you told everybody on the planet Earth what you thought, felt, and you sang songs about it and you acted in movies about it. It's like giving the most important thing you could tell to like a kid, I would say, because like, you can own that shit, in the moment, but realize you will be a different person later, and you can fucking change your mind and like, evolve or whatever.
I mean, it's really just what misery would you prefer? Would you rather have the misery of looking back and going, I don't agree with that? Or would you rather have the misery of regret in general of having never done any of those things?
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now,
taking the risk.
the torture of having not done things has been the what if has been such a more damaging and defeating ghost in my skeleton in my closet than anything I've ever done.
Than any like risk that you took.
Yeah, there's nothing that I've done that was like regrettable or a mistake that feels worse than something I didn't do and that I wish I would have tried.
Yeah. Except for cutting my finger off. That was one thing I wish I
cut your
had.
finger?
A little bit. Just a tip.
Just got a tip. No, it was barely. That's fine.
Just a little bit. The bone was sticking out though. That wasn't fun.
What's it like? What do you finger with?
Do
either
I
of
finger
those?
differently
Like
now?
yeah, like is it?
If
I
I finger the guitar differently.
Oh, I bet you sound like Tony Iommi now, or what?
I'm worse.
Oh. He's not worse. He's the greatest guitarist. He's the greatest left-handed guitarist ever. Fuck Jimi Hendrix.
No, yeah, it's a whole story. But yeah, no, it was a. Someone gave me a guitar that was like a balsa wood, like it was like a prop guitar that you couldn't actually play. They didn't realize it, and so I was like 13. I was like, I'm going to throw this into the riverbed and watch it go kaboom because I be a little boy, and so even though I look like a little girl, and my friend was like, brain idea, let's hit it over a stump. I hit it over a stump, and then the steel strings cut my tip of my finger off.
That's fucking metal. That's
it was very
badass.
metal, and I was like, oh my fucking god, literally what I said. And
When you were 13?
I said, oh my fucking god, because the bone was sticking out. And then I like had to go to his mom. I was like, okay, can you help me? And so she put me in her car and she drove me across the street to my mom's house, and she banged on the door and she's like, Bonnie, open the door,
Your
My
fucking son's bleeding on my rug.
Yeah, my mom was like, oh, there's a crazy person at the door. I'm not answering it. So she drives me another block down to the hospital. And then I'm like thinking, oh fuck, I can't play guitar anymore. I'm about to pass out. I'm like lightheaded. And then I go into the emergency room, but I've never been there. I don't know where the entrance is. So I go through the back way where the double doors are for the ambulance entry. Mm-hmm. And because the way like people could come and go from the lab, the ER, like you could just walk in because like there was no like security. Like I went in the back and I walked into the middle of the ER, like where the doctors and the nurses are. And I just went like, and they're like, excuse me, sir, can I, hey, go to bed one. And then I passed out and I woke up and they had done surgery and they like fucked up. There's, if you look at my hand, there's like some surgery scars or whatever. They took skin from this part and put it onto the tip of my finger, but they have to put it through this machine that like tenderizes it.
Machine?
I don't know. And it got jammed. And so they had to cut it again, do it again.
Xerox machine got jammed.
And what was crazy, so the person that gave me the guitar that I cut myself on, like a week later gave my other brother some tile that he cut his hand on and cut his tendon. So there's pictures of the two of us like with our hands and like wrapped up or whatever.
We should go find this guy, cut his dick off.
It was a girl.
Asshole. It was a girl.
It was a woman. Anyway, so
It was a woman. It was the woman who molested me.
They cut her dick off, and now she
cut her dick off. Okay,
So
fair
no,
enough. Shit happens.
but no, like so.
Oh, did someone beat us to it? God damn it!
And then
let's sew it back on.
And then the doctor that did both of our surgeries died shortly after. Got hit by a truck. So that was what happened.
Yeah, what the fuck?
No, because what was funny is when they wrapped up my hand together to like in this like sort of cask thing to like for it to heal, and it was so painful that I was on Vicodin as like a 13-year-old boy. Like my mom was kind of a pushover, and she let
I
me.
knew 13-year-olds that were on Vicodin. They just weren't prescribed Vicodin.
Right. And so, but like I never took aspirin, dude. I was like I wasn't straight. I didn't take shit. Like I didn't take.
I was straight edge till I was 18.
I wasn't straight edge, but I might as well have been, because I did nothing.
Oh yeah,
I was
same here.
So I'm like in bed, like, and I'm like, my mom didn't make. I was absent more days that I attended my senior year of high school. This was like in like maybe freshman. I can't even remember what year it was. So like I was a shitty student. So I never went anyway. But like now that I had sort of an excuse, like I was bedridden for like a week unnecessarily. And my brother-in-law, I remember like threw like a Playboy at me.
Yeah.
And that was like the best time of my life, was just like being on Vicodin as like a 13-year-old boy looking at Playboy, like and not going to school.
I could do that right now. It would be the greatest night of the year.
I think about it fondly, often.
I loved Playboy magazines.
Yeah.
They had, like, people make the joke of like, oh, there's great articles. But like, they had great articles.
Yeah.
They had fucking funny cartoons, and they had some hot airbrush ladies.
Broads.
And you didn't have some big
There's
fucking meaty lip hanging pussy like Hustler. You
my goodness.
Nothing's wrong with those vaginas,
No.
guys. If you heard that and you were offended, there's nothing better than
Have you looked at one recently?
Yes.
I downloaded because of the internet.
Yeah, because
I downloaded all of them.
Physical magazines.
I literally downloaded all of them.
You torrented all the Playboys?
I did.
That's amazing.
Well, all of them from like, because I'm an old man, I did it from like 70 to like 85 or something like that.
Okay.
And it is remarkable how little of anything there is. It's all ads. It's all ads. There's like maybe 4 pages.
Oh, that's
it's incredibly slim, the pickings.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, badass when I was a teenager in high school. It was like Ernest Hemingway, the coolest Bond cars, some big old titties, fucking
Crown Royal.
Amazing.
Yeah. Mercedes Benz. And it's all ads. And it's like a few articles and like 1 or 2 pictures.
Brutal. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's just
But those pictures
funny.
would last you a long time.
I know, dude. There's still porno mags that I might have like in a safe somewhere or in storage that I had when I was in junior high, where I was just like, this is the first of this I ever got to see. The internet really took everything by storm, but the physical copies of things make it so fucking nice.
Yeah, that's why, vinyls, like they've got some vinyls for sale over there. It's a tactile, like
vinyl.
the physical, like you can't get away from that shit.
It's tangible, and it absolutely it grounds you, and it gives you a sense of presence that other things are not providing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
listening to a song on a record in person versus listening to it when you're out walking with headphones in. Not the same experience, and you will not feel the same, and that song will not mean the same to you in that moment.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Same thing with titty mags, dude.
It's true. The vinyl of porn.
So you have a photo Instagram.
I have like 8 Instagrams.
Yeah, I have like 3. I understand, which is funny because you messaged me through like the one I use the least.
I mean, I just put in that's a weird thing is like people think, oh, I'm going to make up my pseudonym. No, they have your name. Like if you search by someone's name, it'll show you all the things.
Now it does now. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it still did that. Like maybe if you Google someone, it will.
Well, no, I just put in Dallas and it just
that's good.
brought both your at least 2 of your accounts.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I was like, why the fuck? I'm never on this thing.
Yeah.
It's it's like a doodle. I put doodles on that Instagram.
Okay.
And I do it like maybe once or twice a year now. So I'm never on that profile. That was fun to kind of communicate through that. But was it feral photo?
Yeah.
Were you doing photos you had like scantily clad broads or something? What would you call it?
Oh, no. So there's so you're talking about the AI art probably. Is that what you're talking about?
No, they're these freaking attractive ladies in less clothing. I don't know.
There's not that much. The Farrell photos, I don't know. I guess so. You
Maybe
think-
some of it was, and I was like, oh, is that maybe it was just a one photo shoot, and I'm conflating the rest of it. But I was just like,
I don't know.
yeah,
I
another
don't know.
photographer getting to be around hotter chicks than I ever did. Great.
Well, no, I'm trying. I'm legitimately trying. No, no, the Farrell photo stuff is like really all tame, but like I've gotten into like the AI art, and that's really deprived.
Tell me about that. What do you mean?
That's no. I mean, it's
people are posting these images of themselves that are really like doctored.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're AI, and
So-
it.
those are.
I'm like, I'm a narcissist. I want to see how good I can look.
Exactly.
I don't know where to go, and I'm way too.
Yeah.
I have way too big of an ego to ask.
I mean,
someone
anytime
where to
anytime in the old days when people used to take pictures, and instead of inventing them through the brain of an AI algorithm, because I mean my grandpa was like a professional photographer, and I've always like done video production, and now like in the past 2 years, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go all in on photos, and then like fucking AI comes out, I'm like, oh, I guess this is what I guess I'll sell my camera now.
Oh shit!
But it's insane.
Won't be
It's-
needing this anymore.
it's criminal, but my little rat brain of like the cheese reward system, like it's like I'm fucking at home, cranking out nudie pics.
Yeah.
It's AI.
Yeah. So you'll do. That
So
sounds cool.
here's
Do you
the
have an
thi-
account for that?
I
would
do.
love to watch that. I have. That's one thing that my art account is I follow a ton of like Instagram whores.
Yes.
And OnlyFans.
Yeah,
models,
and all men do.
And then
As I've realized.
and then a lot. I really love sexually explicit illustrations.
Yeah.
My friend Kale, he has a alter ego that paints sexually explicit like paintings, and they're really fucking good and cool. And I have like one, I can't wait to get out of storage and put it on my wall in my new place.
Yeah, my friends. Well, I had basically one friend that was like making deviant art when we were in high school. Like he was like having like skulls fucking women,
Yeah.
and like
Hell yeah.
real gruesome like Hellraiser kind of
Oh,
shit or
God.
whatever. And like,
What a G.
I don't know. I've never gone that far. But so I grew up with like before deviant art was a thing, it was like, that was like, to me, I would look at what he was drawing, and I was like, why would art be anything other than naked women? Like, what's the point?
That is art. That there's photos of it, there's drawings of it, and
Yeah.
then we want to see it. Like there's people break the law to have it
Yeah.
and see it. People like it is. It's so crazy how dumb men are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How fucking simple.
So I actually wrote down some of my stupid ass thoughts about gender and all this shit. Like I've written like a 3-page essay on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I'm bringing all these.
You gotta get the let out.
I'm bringing in all these like disparate like ideas to like prove my point. But it's like one of the interesting things is that so there was a person who was born a woman, and she transitioned to a man, and she would before when he was a she, never understood like the way that
Attraction,
like men would just like ogle
drool,
women,
yeah.
just drool over
The male gaze.
And then the moment she became a he and started taking like the testosterone,
Yeah.
was never into science, got really into science, never used to like ogle
Yeah.
whatever they were interested at the time, but all of a sudden it's like the testosterone, like it does things. Like we like to think that we have agency, but no, you just have chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the chemicals because they make me feel better about myself, and it makes me fuck longer, and that's
'Cause you're
what
on
makes me
meds.
feel best.
Is that helping? Or is that so you said it didn't affect.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah. Since you asked, let's see. Fucking, I haven't had like crazy erectile dysfunction or anything. I think if anything, that's happened from drinking or like
Right.
nerves or something.
Whiskey dick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which I was like, that doesn't happen. That's not real. And then I hit like 25, 26, and I was like, that's definitely
Wait till you
happening.
hit 40, motherfucker. Fuck you, dude.
I know.
It's like all that shit. Because like my dad, when he was younger,
I got Blue Chews a while ago. This was during the pandemic. I was drinking a ton. My dick was not working, so I got Blue Chews. And
Blue Chews. What is that?
they're like
It's like a.
Viagra. They're like
Oh,
generic Viagra, but it's a chewable one.
What?
And they sponsor a bunch of podcasts.
Okay.
So everyone has a promo code,
Chews.
so you just get a prescription online. It's super easy and be like, I don't.
So you're taking heart medication.
I don't, is that what it is?
Well, the Viagra, from what I understand, is it was a heart medication that like had an interesting side effect.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I had gotten like, I think they send you like 3 or 4 pills or something. And I was like, perfect. That's the most I'm having sex.
26-year-old male taking Viagra.
Right. Well, I was just drinking. I drank for 78 days straight during the pandemic. Gained like 20 pounds. It's great. I look back at myself in horror, but I looked atrocious, and my dick wasn't working. And so once in a while, when my girlfriend would come over, I would have a Blue Chew, or maybe have that a little before, and it would help me. And I forgot about them. I had the package in like this old like shoebox full of like random crap, and she found them a year or so later.
Do they expire? Or?
I have no idea. Yeah. I didn't give them a chance to expire. I think I
Yeah.
ate all of
You're
them.
right. No.
And she thought I was cheating on her, because she's like, "Who?
Why do you have these?
And I'm like, little did she know, I'm like, that's just how interested in fucking you I am. I fucking,
No, this is for you, baby.
this is actually for you.
This is what love looks like. This is my love language.
My love language. Cock
It's medication.
works now. Oh yeah, so I just thought that was funny. One of my friends was talking to me about it recently, maybe also like a year ago, because he was drinking a lot and he didn't have any.
It must be really
excuse.
frustrating for women realizing how stupid men are, and how they can overpower them and take over all the power in the world. This motherfucker's in charge. Why?
You don't even know. Like the one in charge. We're so stupid. The one that we think is in charge, or the one that's actually in charge, isn't working, and we're like, we got to get him back to work.
Yeah.
we don't know what to do without him. But it's actually a goddamn dream miracle when it's not working, and you just go. Would tell myself constantly, I wish I could know what it would be like to not have a libido.
Okay.
So still have a working dick, but not have a libido.
Right.
And see how like much work I can get done.
Yeah.
And if I could just
Your
walk past a
productivity,
woman and
yeah.
like not think about
Right.
fucking her, or like rate
Right.
her on a scale of
Right.
like how many drinks it would take to fuck her, you know, or
Right.
like, oh, that's definitely a pass on the smash or pass game. You know? Like,
Right.
it's all your brain is doing constantly, just like that.
Yep.
Like it is just.
I remember very vividly like coming home from school when I was like in high school and like legitimately like being upset about how horny I was.
It is painfully
Because
erect.
you're just all the time like you're in Spanish class and
God,
you're
I
looking at a girl and you're like, I cannot fucking concentrate right now, and then you come home and like I can't masturbate anymore. I can't. I gotta get something done.
Yeah, how many times a day can you? Thankfully, right now like I don't have any privacy really. Like so, there's not a lot of jacking off going on.
Yeah, that's a problem. Is it?
No, I don't. You know what? I don't know. I did sober October, and then like I tried to do no nut November, which didn't really happen, and it just I just lost interest.
Yeah,
Which is nice. I feel like I like talked myself
don't
into
use
it.
it, you lose it. I've heard like, I don't know if it's just people making up shit about like things getting like backed up. I don't know if that's true or not. One thing I always think about is like that Dr. Drew was having this conversation a long time ago about like if your libido goes down, that's unfortunately it's a sign of like ill health, right? Like as a man, like that, because like one of the leading causes, like signs of like being sick is like your libido goes away. And so that was the kind of thing, because I always like you, I was like, God, I can't wait till I'm old and I don't.
Done with.
Supposedly that's not a good sign.
That's good.
But then
I was
of course,
probably a little ill in November.
But then there's like asexual people. There's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, what's normal?
That's
I don't know.
oh my God. I knew someone who claimed to be asexual when I was like a young man, and I was so envious.
Right.
Because like I just want like it just nothing. You can hang out with a girl and
You don't have any.
get to know them as a person and like
You can
access
communicate
them. Yeah,
and have, like, a
have a
meaning-
real
full
connection.
conversation.
And you don't have to worry about what they think about you, and you don't have to worry
Oh my
about
God.
like jacking what they're wearing.
Are they gonna
or
have
jacking off
sex with
thinking
me?
about? Yeah,
Will they
are
have
you
sex
gonna-
with me?
yeah,
Are you gonna have
like,
sex with
Is it gonna ruin it? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a fucking dream that would be. So yeah, if there was like a pill you could take where it wouldn't affect your health, and I could just be like asexual for.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk
So
to me.
when we're born as males, should we be forced to? Maybe you do it when you're having the vasectomy. Or I'm sorry, I've I jumped to the, you know what I'm saying? When you have a circumcision, should you also have a vasectomy so that you cannot have kids until you have to like pass some sort of test, some sort of written test?
I used to think this, and it's a very troubling conflict because I am all about individual civil liberty, and that kind of violates that.
For sure.
But
For sure.
a huge part of me is also like, there's people driving that I don't want to even like, shouldn't drive. There's no fucking way they're making kids too. That is horse shit.
Yeah.
But also, you need someone to clean the gutters. Like, they're absolutely like, dumb.
Well, until AI
Oh God!
takes over.
Shit. We're gonna be the gutter cleaners after that.
rough.
I mean, I'm an electrician. You know, someone's got to fucking turn the lights on.
Is that
fix
right?
shit. Yeah. So it's like someone's got to do something, and I guess if all the stupid people stop fucking making kids, no one's gonna consume television. Like, just humanity is gonna.
Yeah, we need
cease.
meat for the grinder.
Yeah, exactly. You need meat for the grinder, for the app, everything. You need, it's how new diseases are found, and that's how scientists find new cures, and then we proliferate as a society and like move on. Like, you do need fodder. Like when you were saying you wrote that essay about your ideas about gender identity and politics, things like that. It absolutely is. You have to get the lead out. You have to get the bad jokes out to get to access the good in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a lot of fruit on the tree. Not all of it's going to be ripe or good.
And
And I truly think that is just a matter of the universe is empty space, and in the middle there's planets, and that's where life happens. And in between is what you have to traverse to get to the next stage of a civilization or a collective.
Yeah.
And that collective or civilization could be a joke, could be an idea, could be progress in humanity. It can
Yeah.
be, kind of
Yeah.
leveled out.
I mean, it's so easy to make humans. Why isn't it hard to make robot humans?
I don't think it's hard.
I don't think it will
People
be.
are essentially cyborg just with our phones.
Yeah, that's the singularity. Like,
Yeah.
like we're gonna get dumb, we'll get dumber, and robots will get smarter, and we'll meet in the middle, and you won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, who cares? Fuck it.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds pretty rad.
yeah.
You know how many problems I have that if someone could make this back pain go away and I could still go around and do something and like
Yeah.
have fun. That'd
Put
be
your
great.
brain in a jar,
Yeah.
like Futurama.
Dude. Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. Like fucking. What's his name? Nixon. I was thinking Nixon and Futurama.
Futurama name drop. I know the guy that did the soundtrack that wrote all the music.
Who's that?
There's a guy named Chris. He's in Santa Maria.
Oh, I believe it. I know a Chris in Santa Maria.
He's
a piece of shit, though.
Yeah, he is a piece of shit. He runs a company I worked for a hot minute.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice name drop.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
look him
it's
up
funny.
after.
It's funny like when you find people that are like, you did that.
Credited and they're just right over there.
Yeah, no, there's a guy in Los Osos who did all the miniature photography for Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and all this shit. This guy named David Hardberger. Yeah.
There's and there's someone else around here, a special effects guy that I am aware of that lives. You can't say Santa Barbara because so many people from the industry. in
Right,
general
yeah,
are in
well,
Santa
the whole
Barbara and wanna
world,
see
yeah.
them.
Tom Hanks is working in Santa
ridiculous.
Barbara.
Oh, silly. That's funny. So, how'd you acquire stages?
I woke up one morning and I was like, it can't be that. It can't be that. It can't be that
Robert
expensive.
California says that you shouldn't start stories like that.
No,
Everyone wakes up.
I
every day,
literally
that's how you
did. I
begin every
don't
day.
know, but I have a lot to say about waking up in the morning and dreams in general, and like that's where all my thoughts and creative shit comes from. Is the alpha state? It's like because yeah. So when you dream, you usually do it right before you wake up. You have half your brain is asleep, and then the other half wakes up your left side, and then you come together and you have it's like lucid dreaming. Like I used to do that, and genuinely, I wrote a whole book. Like I wrote 14 pages of it, but I in my head it's a whole book about like this guy who lives forever, and it came to me in a dream. Seriously, like I woke up and I was like half awake, and I was like, it can't be that expensive because I was in the process of shooting a music video with Brett for their video for Just Like You for Good Grief, and we were just like we rented it for like 2 or 3 days, and I had the Gemini before in the past, and I know there's so many fucking vacant buildings around here. Everyone in my family at some point or other has had like their own business. Like my sister-in-law ran like a classical school ballet. It's like I know what it cost. Like my friend Randall runs, certain Sparks, like Ben runs Nulos. Like I know all these people that have these buildings and they're not rich. It's like, you just got to find a place that like people are hurting, or there's like an opportunity. Like if you don't ask, you don't fucking find out. And I think partly I could say that I'm lucky, and it's the white privilege, and people see me and they know me, and like I have a family in town and stuff like that. And I have a pretty big family, and they've all like Mason Mill Construction, like my oldest brother had a business. Angela Mills has her business. So I grew up with all of these people, and I was like, it's all very achievable. It can't be that expensive to rent this place,
And so what was that waking thought?
I was like, I need, because like I had the Gemini, and I lost the Gemini, and I needed a place for my stuff, and I was like, getting older, and I need to fucking do something, and I need like a studio. And so I was like, I had all this gear in my mom's garage. It was so fucking much. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll just ask, and then like, as it happens, Mike Escobar is going to,
I called him Mike Morales. That's funny.
Yeah. He's thinking about moving to Oregon. And so I was talking to the lady who was the go-between, and she was like, yeah, let me talk to him, And so we negotiated on a price, and we figured it out, and my brother actually loaned me some money to do it. I paid him back after a while. And the landlord's amazing, sweetheart, like works with me, helps me out. And it's like, we made an agreement. Fortunately, there are some limitations here. I can't really do the alcohol thing, which would be really it's like the linchpin between being super profitable. Maybe something will happen down the line. Who knows? But
what's the hurdle for that?
It's owned by Lovark. And it's it blows my mind. Like what's that thing when like people think like something happened and it didn't happen? Mandela effect. Yeah. I have the Mandela effect of like thinking that Mandala. I had
see, it just happened again.
I always thought Lovark was like an international thing. I think it's just a Lompoc thing.
It might be Lompoc opioid vaginal.
No, okay, come on now.
Sorry,
it's life options vocational advocacy or something.
Because they own this place. Sorry,
they own this.
I didn't know. I forgot. I was like, why'd you get super uncool for a second?
Chill out, bro, man. Chill out. No, I love these people. They are the reason I'm in this building, and they're amazing to work for, or work with, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. And so their whole business is like giving like housing or like helping out with housing and like work occupational for people that have special needs.
Really?
And that's So
okay.
like the Lovark bus was always like I mean, I was a kid, you're on the Lovark bus, you're on the short bus, but I always thought it was like an international thing. I don't know why in my head.
Funny. I
looked
that about some things.
Yeah, I looked it up recently and I was like, why don't I see like when I look this up, all I see is Lompoc. I was like, oh, this is just a Lompoc thing. But in my head it was like, anyway.
I thought it was like Lovark was like a drug program.
I mean, they might do a whole bunch of stuff. Like if you look around, there's all these buses, and they'll bus people with special needs all around the place. And I think I don't know all the details.
They stick them into Starbucks.
Yeah, I would assume that they have like connections to like the Rainbow. So like right behind where Vaughn's used to be, where it's Aldi's now. There's a community there of like special needs housing.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
I was like, how do we get into this exclusive nice housing?
Yeah. And I would have to assume that Lovark has their hands in that because that's kind of their wheelhouse.
It's the Rainbow Apartments.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. So that's their whole thing. It's a nonprofit. So they're a nonprofit and they own this building. And I rent from them, and
That's
so
cool.
and so it's a non-alcoholic venue, and in some ways it's good because it's an all ages thing most often than not, which is not something that you have.
You know what? And that was so important and something that we really valued when we were kids and had bands and stuff.
Oh yeah,
is
Sugar Magnolias. When I was growing up, that was the one place, and the beach. The reason why Amber had that place, she told me, she was like, because my band, the Jinx, back in the day, used to play at Sugar Magnolias, and she'd be like, "That was she worked there at the time," and
Where was Sugar Magnolias?
Sugar Magnolias was right across the street from where Vaughn's used to be. So it's like I don't even know what's there now. Like it's like Domino's. So where Domino's is, like that like plaza. There was
yeah, because there's Surf Connection, there was Morning Glory, and then there was the Candy
Corky's.
Shop.
There was the warehouse, and
what was the candy shop called?
Corky's.
With the rock candy, really?
It was They had like adult like cards, like you could get like novelty
funny
like and like sex toys and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting
I
thing.
couldn't remember the name, but I used to go there as a kid too.
Yeah. No, that was like a big hit when you're like 12. You're like,
Dude,
oh my
it just blew
god.
my mind. I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
It just brought back memories.
Dude, I'm old.
This
I'll
Matrix
tell you,
is
I
wild.
remember when it was all dirt. I legitimately.
There's a lot. There's a lot of things in Napomo
There was-
where I'm like, I remember when this was all dirt.
Right.
It's still half dirt there, but
where like Mervin's is now. That was all. There was a church. There was like
what?
It-
Pre-Mervin's. Wow.
Yeah,
I
so-
remember Mervin's. That's all. That's as far back as I
before Mervin's. It was like an open. It was basically like an open field. There was eucalyptus trees all along. Right. Like
There's
like
still a couple left in front of Taco Bell.
right. So it was all along the front there, like from starting at where the drive-in movie theater is, all the way to the end of the street. It was all eucalyptus trees, and then you have. So then it was like a field, and then there was a small church, and I used to go to that church to go to adult children's alcoholics, Alateen or whatever, and so what they did is like when I was a kid, they decided like I think it's like I don't know if it's like a Mormon church right where Coast Hills is. There's
Yeah.
a church there. It's a Mormon church, right?
I don't know. I learned to drive in that parking lot.
Right. And so when they decided to build that, because I think they used to like they had the church where that plaza was, they burnt it down for training. Like they were like, we needed to demolish this thing, so we'll set it on fire and it'll give training for the firefighters. So they just burnt the church down that I used to go to.
Metal as fuck.
And
Dude,
then
I
they
had no
built
idea
one across-
firefighters were so fucking metal. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Damn, dude.
I used to go to I saw the Gremlins at that drive-in movie theater. I was scared shitless. I was a little kid.
I can't believe that's what 42 is now.
Yeah.
Like 1980. I remember when I was a kid and the guys who were born in 1980s were just hitting 20 something. And they were like pro skaters, and I knew I could like do the math in my head real quick. And I was like, oh yeah, they're just like 23. That's so old. I don't ever want to live that long. I remember thinking like, I could probably check out when I'm 23. And now I'm like, oh my God, what a dumb pussy that would have been. I would have missed out on
Life.
well, maybe
I don't know,
24,
Kurt
but
Cobain.
the rest is kind of
that was my whole like beacon in life. Like when I was a kid, it was like Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and all that shit.
27.
Right. He so where my family grew up or whatever, where my grandma's house was like down the street from Kurt's.
In Aberdeen?
Yeah, no. So for where he shot himself, not where he grew up, but where he eventually would become rich and live near my grandma. Because my grandma and my grandpa had money. And my mom decided to
I don't know
to not do that kind of maneuver.
Are your mom and my mom friends?
Probably.
No, your mom and my grandmother maybe.
Yeah. No,
What's it like that you could be my dad right now?
That's the thing, I think about Brett, and I'm like, because we feel like we jam together or whatever, and it's like, fuck, dude, I could be his dad, pretty much.
It doesn't in no way do you come off as someone that
Is smart enough to be an adult.
No, yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
No, it's so wild. Oh man, I can't believe you're 42. That is the craziest fucking thing I've heard in a long time.
I enjoy asking people that.
I'm like, oh, this man's 32 tops for the entirety of knowing you.
No, it's a family. It's a gene thing because like my brother's that way, my mom's that way.
Yeah,
and I enjoy it because everyone says the same. I've had that my whole life,
If you're black,
that I'm black, that I don't crack.
Is it? That's cool. Interesting. What's your genetic background like? Cultural rather.
Euromut,
yeah. I'm pretty
Norwegian, Italian, Scottish.
Yeah, I'm Scottish and Italian. Oh, my grandfather is from England, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I never met him. He passed away before.
Before you got interesting.
Yeah.
To you as a person.
Yeah. No.
Did you know?
He had a couple daughters with a lady who would be my mom and aunt, and they put them up for adoption. and I didn't meet my maternal grandmother till I was about 15, 16 years old. And at this point, my grandfather had already passed away. She had remarried, so she actually just passed away recently in the last year or so.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's weird to hear that because it's like, well, I only met her once. Like, should I feel that way? You know, but
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I wish I would have known her more. And it's so terrifying how genetics really come into play with shaping someone's personality, because as soon as, so this is what happened. My sister was getting married in like Springville, somewhere outside of Bakersfield. And it was a surprise that my mom's mother, real life mother, was going to show up.
Okay.
And she showed up, and it just blew everyone's fucking minds. And the resemblance was psycho.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. They're just two shaky fucking spastic women, just they're little chihuahuas of people. It was wild. I was like, oh my God, that's my grandmother. That's your mom.
Yeah.
That's who we're related to. That's why I'm like this. That all makes sense.
Wow.
And God, I wish I could interface with them, her, and all of that as like the cognizant human being I am now.
Right.
Like just autonomous and have that.
That's nuts.
Bummer. We'll have to go for the next best thing.
Which is?
I have no idea. Figure out what it is. Do you ever trip out on like you can't actively feel all your organs sitting inside of you?
I think the moment you do, that's a problem.
Like when you feel them, you're like, oh,
yeah. You
shit.
only feel your insides when they're not working.
Does it feel weird that like your idea of a person and a self, is it the skeleton? Is it the organs? Is it the brain?
Well, yeah.
I know it's all a tie-in, but where does that disembodiment come in from? I've been smoking a lot of weed lately.
I feel you.
I'm not a big
That's definitely a
weed
high
guy,
thought.
so this occurred to me in a moment of clarity or
Where's
sobriety.
the seat of the soul, as they would say?
Or I was like, oh, like I am like organs moving around.
Yeah. There's nothing like getting older to change your priorities in life. Yeah, it goes from like fucking, not dying. Yeah, it's weird.
Which is funny because when you're younger, it's like, I want to die, but I gotta fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
now you're like,
old.
I'm gonna die, but I would still kind of like to fuck.
I'd imagine when you get old, it's still just, I want to die.
You know, it's weird.
I can't fuck.
It's like I look at my I have I'm old, so you can imagine the people in my parents.
You have no idea how much sense all of this makes now. Why the whole event.
You thought I was much cooler. You're like, dude, this young stud's got all this shit.
Yeah,
no, I'm old.
It makes total sense because that was one of the first jokes I made on stage in last month. Was like, oh, it's cool to real limited invite on Facebook. A lot of Facebook friendly crowd here. A lot of old people. It made perfect sense. It makes perfect sense now. That's the only app you know how to use. You were like, everyone's still on Facebook, right? Like,
everyone in the group chat, you're the only one that isn't.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have Facebooks, but Facebook Messenger, I don't want anyone to feel that comfortable getting a hold of me that easily.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It was a weird thing. Like
I've messaged a lot of like apartments around the places, like
using
listings.
Yeah, because the marketplaces.
And I have no idea if they've ever gotten back to me because I still haven't downloaded.
No, I noticed. I've been trying to communicate with you.
Just text me, fucker. Just Instagram message me like a normal human.
I have some sweepstakes that I need to give you.
You're 5 years too late, bud.
I have some publishers clearinghouse that I need to that I've been trying to correspond to you with about.
Oh my God.
But you won't respond on Facebook.
You're 2 presidents too late. Well, okay, 2.5 if you call this one a president, but
Yeah, do over, please. No, so it's like, it's true. It's weird because like my girlfriend's, she's 8 years younger than me, so I feel like an old man sometimes. But it's like, like she's big on Facebook, and that's the funny thing. Like I didn't even sign up for a Facebook account. A younger friend of mine was like, when I was like 20, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something like that. He's like, oh, you're not on Facebook? I'm gonna sign you up. And like, Anyway, so
That was 2002. Facebook wasn't even around. You're trying to throw that around.
2000, yeah, it was 2004 or something like that, 2005, 6, something like
Damn,
that.
that's crazy.
So yeah, I was like the early days of it, and I was actually the way I was in Europe, and there was like and I was like, I don't want anything to do with it, but there were like
Europeans?
there was these British girls in Amsterdam that we met on a bus, and they were like, we'll message you on Facebook. I was like, fuck, I guess I got to get Facebook.
You're like,
And then,
nothing like pussy to get you to do something
Yeah.
you weren't gonna do
Yeah,
before.
exactly. Anyway, yeah, so.
Let's say alcohol, weed, getting a job,
Having a
learning
child.
to drive. All of these things only did because of
Well, we've
they were
outsourced
connected
morality to
pussy,
women, and we've
which
insourced it.
sucks
What-
because
and so-
they're not much better at it than men were.
No.
I think we got to kill a couple more people and
Right.
then even it out.
Well, yeah, I mean, men and women are the distinction is diminishing in a lot of ways,
You're
especially
telling
in
me.
cities, for sure.
And so yeah.
Because it's not the money is the priority, and not being able to lift big, strong bricks. Being strong enough to lift bricks, or fight the bear or whatever it is you need to do as a man.
Yeah, you were a woman when you were growing up.
I
weren't
was,
you?
dude. I described myself as Marilyn Manson, did I not? I was.
I love that dude. He's rad.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
That was
His music's okay.
Yeah.
I try to get into his music, and I still listen to Marilyn Manson cover that he covers on. He's one of those. He's like
I mean, Antichrist Superstar is amazing.
yeah. That's music video to
Beautiful people.
yeah, it's so good. So good. I love it.
And it's good. You know why? Because it was produced by Trent Reznor.
Yeah, fucking another good.
Did you go to the show? Did you go to the Nine Inch Nails show at the Santa Barbara Bowl?
No,
I was the only person that didn't. You and me.
I couldn't-
I would look on Facebook. I was
I
like,
couldn't-
Avery from like certain parts of it?
I couldn't get into
Nine
Nine
Inch
Inch Nails. I like Trent Reznor, and
Really?
I like his music that he does for
The movies
scores.
and shit?
Yeah. So, but Nine Inch Nails is just kind of
Yeah, it
It's.
wasn't-
I think it was a little too on the electronic side
Yeah.
for me when I opened my mind to it, and it.
Because you're an old soul and you only listen to the banjo.
My fucking Confederate switchblade. That's my pick.
I wondered about you. I was like,
I know. That's the funniest thing is I know that there's people who are not close enough to know what I'm joking about or know how serious I am about certain things. And working in like a kind of blue collar job, I just started dressing a certain way and
Same. Look at me.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah. Carhartt.
Carhartt.
Hell yeah.
I got to fit in.
Head
I
to
got to stop
toe.
driving that. I had a Bernie sticker on my Volvo. I felt real uncomfortable driving to work on base.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
I was
Oh, man.
legitimately
I
terrified.
still see Bernie stickers. I saw a Bernie sticker today. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I ever had a Bernie sticker. I think I bought my girlfriend a Bernie shirt when he was at Santa Barbara or whatever.
Yeah.
We tried to go, and then I had to go to work, so we had to leave. But
Yeah.
that was a different
My
person.
friend worked on his campaign.
Yeah. Wow, you fucking lame friend. Fuck
lame
that up.
name
That
drop.
dude did not get elected for anything.
Yeah.
Your friend needs a new career.
He needs to stop being who he is
I'm just kidding.
and
I
liking the
have
things
no
that he
idea.
likes.
You know what? What was the thought I had? I saw the Bernie sticker. It was at the gas station today.
Someone
and-
tried to write Trump over my Bernie sticker, but they did it in like a really
Like a
pathetic
bad,
marker.
pathetic
Like it didn't
marker.
really show up. I was like, I think
that's
Trump.
way funnier. That's so much funnier. It'd be worse if they just blasted a big old Trump on
spray
there.
painted it. Someone graffitied the door. I couldn't really make it out, but if you look at the blue door when you walk out here, yeah,
These assholes.
these assholes.
This has been a big.
This is a shady area at night.
Well, I mean, I'm out
By the
there. It
bar.
makes sense.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were
Yeah. This, I have a lot of fond memories in this room in the last 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Getting scabies on this couch.
No, that happened on my bed.
On your bed.
This couch just. I'm giving it scabies right now.
Oh, thanks.
Actually.
Sorry, I won't interrupt again. You can continue your thought.
Isn't it like conversation so fun though when it's just popping off? You can't even
Yeah.
help yourself.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
good.
much fun. I
It's
enjoy
good.
that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I met my now ex-girlfriend here.
Oh, Okay.
She walked through that door after years of talking to each other on Facebook and texting each other. We always said we'd meet. We never did. And she lived in Los Alamos, and I lived in Napomo or Lompoc or wherever the fuck. I moved around a lot, different trailers, you know. And
Yeah, mobile homes are mobile.
pretty accessible. And I walked through that. She walked through that door, and I was up at the front of the stage. I turned around, saw her, got her text that she was here. I parted the crowd and just went and grabbed her, picked her up, and spun her, and like gave her a big hug. And we ended up dating for the next 8 or 9 years.
Good heavens.
Yeah,
Quite a story.
and we broke up about 2 weeks ago.
Good fucking. I hope I had something to do with that too, right?
It was honestly because she couldn't come to the show because she had work.
You were
that
like,
night.
you don't
Yeah.
love me. Fuck you.
No, I didn't want her to come. Honestly,
You're like, you realize she's not. If she can't take this, you can't take me at my worst. You can't take me. At my
no, she's probably heard way worse from me.
Yeah.
I actually, I was like, oh, are you just gonna come to every show I do? Like, can I just go do something on my own, please?
Oh.
I think I kind of fucking was writing on the wall. My bad, but there's probably a lot of people's first time learning about this. Super fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
But they probably won't hear this for a while, so I don't care. By the time anyone's actually listening to this, or by
Well,
the
you
time,
have the edit power. Of
I
the
do,
edit.
yeah. And how many people would have to listen to 2 hours and 15 minutes?
Because
into-
what psychopath goes to the end?
Yeah. Like, let me see if it arrived.
That
somewhere.
said, I do know someone. I won't call them out, but I was having a conversation with a person, and they told me that they go to the end of a novel and read the end.
Oh, that's
Is that a thing you do?
no. It's not. I've done that, but there's a psychological trick. You enjoy the book more knowing how it ends if you do that first. I've done it
Really?
before. It's weird. Because I
Oh,
don't.
well, the reason they told me is because they didn't want to be like disappointed or like they were like, let's get to the end. Like,
Yeah,
if
they're
they-
a control freak and they have
Yeah.
issues.
I've heard-
They-
yeah. Sorry, continue.
It's your girlfriend.
It was
I'm
a
just
girl.
kidding.
It was a girl, but
yeah,
it was
yeah, I fucking know it was.
It was a
'Cause
girl.
Men don't read books anymore, and only women have opinions.
and she was talking about a literal book, not like an ebook or like an article.
Ebooks are garbage.
Or
I couldn't
audiobook?
do that. Oh, I audiobook it
I-
up, son. I mostly do audiobooks now.
That's why I have
like
tinnitus.
reference books to be physical.
No,
though.
I don't have tinnitus because of rock and roll music. I have it because of audio.
I would give it to Stephen King.
It's legit.
the whole last 12 hours of it gave me tonight.
yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, I just wanted to reflect on that because it was interesting to have had that relationship kind of begin really that
And then
night.
to force you into this like environment.
Dank, dark, it's cold. I can see my breath in this.
It is
freezing room.
cold. It's probably I don't know why, but it's a lot warmer in the middle room, which would
It would get warmer in there. I don't know why either.
I think
it's probably
there's
an
more
insulation
carpeting.
thing.
Yeah, there's more carpeting usually.
Interesting. But
And
it was
this is closer to the wall.
To finish my thought though, like
Yeah.
it was a interesting punctuation to. I really like some finality and bookends and the ends of books. Skipping to the ends of books and and just like like there's a chapter in my life that was closed, and it was interesting where it began and where it's kind of ended. This is an interesting crossroads for it.
That's like.
Room. It's kind of.
Is that the longest relationship you've ever been in?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I haven't even had much of a life before.
Yeah, because I
then,
mean,
you know
like
what
you'd
I
be
mean?
like 12 or something. if
I
you-
was 18,
Yeah.
19, and now I'll be 28 in April. So
Yeah, the longest relationship I'd ever been in was like 6 months until the relationship that I'm in now, which
Oh,
is
really?
about 9 years.
9 years. Yeah. So it's wild to fucking compartmentalize because, like, I thought for sure. I mean, this is definitely going to change, but 2-3 weeks out being a single person, it is not how I felt. Is not the process of a breakup that I thought it would be at all.
Is like life changing and devastating as it would be like for things to change for me now. I gotta imagine it's even more for the 26-year-old version of me, because like 9 years when you're like 100 ain't shit.
You're
but when
like
it's like, but when you're
91?
18, is that what you said? God, that's a lot.
I didn't know how to drive. I had never had a job. I had never drank before. Like,
Yeah.
so many firsts of my
you were an amoeba.
life. Yeah, exactly. And just went through all of these giant life
Yeah.
stages and chapters. And if I live to be 100 or if I die in the parking lot leaving here, like my life is forever considerably affected by this person
For sure.
in a huge way.
Yeah.
There's no erasing it. There's no existing or being like who I am today is so she's been such an integral part of, and it's interesting to like kind of treat someone with that respect and love and admiration and like not be the in the romantic relationship anymore.
Do you think you'll Elon Musk it?
Like how?
Ever come back to her?
Never come back to her?
Well,
Like
I say
because he
that
has a couple kids with different moms.
Yeah, well, he was like with one woman, and then he married like that model lady, and then they've got married, and they divorced, and they got remarried, and then divorced again.
That's right. Well, we separated in 2015 and got back together, but it was so like nothing after being with someone for so long. So
the habit was like so easy to fall back into. You mean?
Yeah, it was more. We were still pretty like immature, and then we kind of like, okay, we really want this, and we think we like got some healthy vitriol out of our system. So this is, and then we had a really good relationship, and like honestly, like I didn't see other people's relationships that I could compare ours to, and I really that was a proud part of it, big sense of pride that I felt always like, oh, this is something I've achieved and I've grown with this person and we've been through rough patches and only gotten stronger afterwards. And I always reflected on that. Like, this is a very good achievement I have. And it was a huge part of like my identity. And I felt very different about myself in the last few weeks, just being essentially alone and trying to find out who I am again. It's very odd because you think you're not. Oh, I'm myself. Like, I'm dating this person, but like I'm myself totally. And I have fucking no clue. Like
who you are?
Yeah, I'm like, was I doing all those things for the other person? Like, am I going to continue to take care of myself and want to do these things and pursue optimization? Is that all for me, or was that just for the sake of a relationship and like the strength of it and the pride and the growth? So I'm getting to like kind of recalibrate all this stuff right now. And
I can't speak for you, but I know being a bachelor, I'm just a monster. You know, like if I'm not tied down to someone who's like more mature than I am, I'll just
make you better.
I'll just never sleep. I barely sleep now.
I know. Oh man, that's one thing is my sleep schedule has already just been
a nightmare.
That oddly enough, I have night terrors as an adult.
That sounds fun.
Last couple of years, I don't know what happened. I just started getting night terrors, and then they get worse when I don't have the medication. Oddly enough.
Okay.
But I still get them even on the medication too. So it truly might be a negligible influence.
A night terror is like I mean, it's like a nightmare that like is like you sleep paralysis. Like what's
yeah. It's essentially a nightmare, and I get sleep paralysis. I can't wake up, and oftentimes I'll be kicking and screaming and like shaking, or making like a guttural noise. And
do you think that is tied into your back pain at all? Or
I don't think so. Only because this was happening prior to the severe injury I have. I've had a back injury for about 4 or 5 years now, but it was really pushed over the edge this year, and that's when I discovered I had 4 herniated discs. So everyone's favorite thing to say is, "How old are you?" And that's the cuntiest goddamn. Every time I hear that, I want to scream.
Yeah.
Because I have to be like, I'm sorry, I have more life experience than you, and I got hurt, bitch. Sorry. Fucking people.
Well, you know,
Sorry,
I mean, that's the thing, you know, like everyone knows like they're getting older when they get older, and they go, well, shit's going to go downhill. And but when you're young, that's then you're like, I got a long way to roll this fucking thing downhill.
Yeah, you're like, shit. I better.
Better.
I'm hoping medical technology and AI just fucking
Yeah.
zap this shit into conformity. Here.
I I don't want to like speak out of school. I hear these things. I hear like all everything. Even though I used to work in a hospital, everything I actually know comes from Dr. Drew. He once said no. He was
I
talking
have
about
a great appreciation and fondness for that man.
yeah,
Now
same,
that I'm in a-
samesies. But he was talking about like all these like because he knows all these celebrities that are like all taking opioids and shit like that for whatever little ailment. And he was trying to his whole thing was like you'll never get over your back pain until you stop taking like opioids. And I know I won't call them out, but I know someone who's in the medical field who has like severe back pain, and they're basically on disability, and they just take so many meds. And it's like I don't know. I can't speak to it. Like I mean, if you're in pain, you got to get out of that pain. And I don't know what everyone's got different like reasons for the pain and all that shit. But I don't know.
It's so true. I tried and still do very hard not to take any pharmaceuticals outside of the Strattera, and haven't taken any like high strength pain medication. I've taken 1/2 of a cyclobenzaprine, but that muscle relaxer was prescribed to me years ago when I got my first back injury, and I still have a bottle of like 60 of them, and I'll break it in half, and that's what I'll do once in a while. And I've taken one in a year. I was taking the naproxen, which is the generic name for Aleve, and I got I think it's called reflex or resistance. It's something that happens with non-steroidal anti-inflammatories where you take enough of them and it begins breaching over into inflammation. Now it's no longer anti-inflammation, and it's causing the inflammation
interesting.
by taking it. So I stopped taking it, and it did help significantly, like with the way I was feeling. But I used to just take. People really don't talk about Aleve, and that shit can get a little dicey. I would drink.
I know
black
someone
out.
almost killed themselves on aspirin. They just they tried to overdose, and
Yeah.
they like didn't die, but they gave themselves like an ulcerated like
That's wild.
stomach.
I knew someone who did that. He had to get the charcoal, drink the charcoal.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
But I would take naproxen and I would drink, and it would just black out. And I'd never blacked out before drinking. I wasn't drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot, I guess. Okay, but it was new, and I would just feel like fucking. There would be like a new darkness in like my whole. It was like something was. It was like browning out even.
Yeah.
So that was scary. I'm glad I don't take even Aleve anymore. But I won't take Tylenol anymore. Like I do not care for that. You know, something I'll do is I'll take Kratom.
Okay, I've heard of that.
I've taken that on and off for years, and it's phenomenal for pain relief, euphoria, and kind of acts like a dick helper too.
Oh,
Makes you a little easier to get hard.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, it's probably same as Viagra. Maybe it's got some sort of.
There's definitely cut with some
Heart-
garbage in there. I'm waiting to get the dose that has like fentanyl.
I feel like
stepped on in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me started. All right. Oh, for the fentanyl, like I have a bar people with this, but that's, I don't know. From what I understand, it like was coming from like China, and it was like it pretty much. I think has been proven at this point to have been what killed Prince and Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prince, Tom Petty,
Probably
I want to
bunches.
say Mac Miller.
Yeah.
It's terrifying how it's like what do they call it? A king slayer, or there's like a word for it, because like celebrities die, but this many celebrities die of the same thing.
Yeah, that they've been taking their whole lives in small doses, but it just so happens this thing's got cut with like a microdose of this shit. That like, yeah,
It's insane. That's wild.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
Casey,
yeah. Is this the time? Is that what we're calling it?
I think so. I think we've run the course of this conversation in a rather exciting and cathartic way, and I really appreciate this.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking it out in this icebox.
Oh, I'm fine. Are you cold?
No, I'm
I'm
fine.
not cold. I'm freezing. Fuck you, bro.
Fuck you, asshole. I thought you needed an ice pack for your back, so I just decided I'd give you
whole
one for your
room.
whole body.
All right, man. Let's. I'd be happy to do this again soon. Welcome back anytime on the show, and I hope I'm welcome back here. And I can't wait to do the show on January 6th, the first Friday Funnies at Stages. $5, bitch.
Yeah, you gotta pay this time.
Yeah, it means there are actually gonna be some fucking people coming in swinging.
I hope so. I actually did let Instagram and in addition to
Facebook?
I didn't just do Facebook. I did Instagram and I paid.
Oh,
both.
so the ad's up there. I know. I keep seeing the ad, and I'm the only one liking it. It's really nice.
Yeah,
All right.
it was $30.
Casey, thank you so much. This has been great.
Cool.